How's everyone doing?
Hey! Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. Hi! Is that better? No.
Oh, it's all bad over here, Christina. Well, I guess just across the globe.
It is all bad over here. Yeah, over here being everywhere and there. Hey, you look like you're in a beautiful spot there. A nice little I always make a joke when I'm recording in a hotel room with my brother that I've bought new artwork, and I always show him the artwork in the
Oh,
hotel. And I want to know what you've bought today, or what you've acquired for your collection today.
it's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned that because I just hung her up. This
Oh
is
wow.
a farm.
A farm.
It,
This is a farm.
it looks like they're trees. The red
It's a
parts are
countryside,
trees.
some sort of bucolic situation.
I saw it and I went, that dirty, dirty floor that we call nature. I just want her hanging over my bed. And that's where she stays now. So,
Wow,
but
it's beautiful. I love that the frame matches the walls. It's the whole thing is just really working
I
together.
called in the big guns on that
You
one. I was
did.
like, I need me a designer. I need
Uh-huh.
her now. And usually it's like, oh Allison, wherefore art thou Allison? I need you to frame something. And then we both decided, let's spend some real money today and
This
get a
time, this is a picture of the outside. We gotta be serious now.
call Queer Eye. We need them to frame our
Bobby!
dirty, dusty picture.
Yeah.
And that's what I bought recently.
It's
Thank you for
so
asking.
cool. One time my brother said, "What's that painting behind you?" And I said, "It's a Matisse." And he said, "Really? Why is it in two pieces?" And I was like, "I cut it in half because it was like one where that for inexplicably this picture, and then they just like chopped the canvas down the half and like moved it." He's like, "I don't know. We have a lot of fun with it." And then sometimes he's like, "What art is in there?" And I turned and there was this giant photograph of a jumbo jet. And I was like,
What?
I don't know. I was like, now I have to come up with a fucking story for that. So,
Was
you
that
know,
cut one actually a Matisse?
no.
Oh, I was like, you could have called it a two-piece
No, it is.
instead of.
Shit, that would have been good. I should have saved that joke for you.
That's why you should only podcast with me, Christine.
I know. I've been feeling it, deep down. I'm like, time to go, time to go. M gets my art curation a little more.
Yes, I'm glad
Yes.
you said something.
Yeah.
Next time I might have something else hanging up. Every week is an adventure over here in the world of design. So
So exciting. So exciting. Do you ever watch on TikTok those what's it called? Designing scents or
I don't know the names of most accounts that I watch. I just know like what I'm seeing.
Oh, I see. It's the
what's
TV
it?
show from the
Oh,
90s.
yes.
God, it's good and
God, it's
painful.
bad.
It's so hard to watch, but I can't stop. It's these two women from like the 90s, 2000s who are like, and here we like they're literally so crazy. They're like redesigning like children's bedrooms and they make them it's like what's the opposite but
Of
still
good.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say, what's the opposite but still bad of extreme home makeover? Because it's like that, but just like shittier somehow, like cheaper,
It's
way cheaper.
that. This is how Ty Pennington made his career. He was like, I can do better
Yeah,
than that.
please step aside because they will literally be like, "Oh, she likes purple," and then they'll just like take a bunch of purple construction paper and like tape it to the walls. Like it's the craziest shit. And then they'll like do something irreversible. They'll be like, "We super glued all of these items to the bed," and it's like, "What the fuck?" Or like, "We took this dusty thing we found at the thrift store and made it her toothbrush," and I'm like, "You
Or
can't just do that."
I saw the one where in the kitchen they bought like plates from the dollar store and like glued them on the wall to make them like 3D art, and I was like, what the fuck is
3D
going on
art,
here?
yeah. These people
Uh,
are like bonkers. It's like they're ahead of their time in like a way that they didn't realize because it's so comical to watch. But there was this one where the girl whose room was she said like she wanted her room to be pink. The whole thing was green. And everyone was like, I wish we could hear. And then at one point they like opened the closet and she's just like, they're like, this is her reading nook. And she's just sitting in the closet. I'm like, these poor children.
I feel like
She came out, not came out, but she came out and said, I'm a survivor. And she said
Oh
it took
my God.
them days. She said they were there for many days. And everyone was like, days? They're gluing tissue paper to the wall. Like, how are they spending days? And she said it was just as traumatic as it seemed. So
It's a lot of paint thinner on a wall or something. I don't know how you get that off. That's I feel like their husbands were just so sick of them being like, "Oh, I'm gonna redo our room," and they were like,
Uh-huh.
"I'll pay you to go anywhere
I'll
else and do that."
decoupage something. No more
Yeah.
decoupage. No, no.
No, 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 no.
Decorating sense with a C. It's supposed to be budget decorating in the 90s. It was, man, if you guys just look that up on YouTube, it is some good quality entertainment and horror
But
also.
it's also wild because on TikTok there are people who are like, "This is how you decorate on a budget," and it looks like a five-star hotel by the end. And I'm
I
like, "How
know.
did you do that?" Like, decorating sense must be humiliated.
I think they must be humiliated. It must have been like pre-Amazon, pre any sort of
Oh
internet
yeah.
purchasing. Like they just had to, and then they'll go, "Oh, we bought these hooks for only $65." And I'm like, "What the fuck kind of hook are you buying for six? You're like blowing the budget, you know?" Oh, and then the cultural appropriation. So they'll always throw in some.
Oh.
They
Oh
always
yeah,
throw
that
in
one.
something. They go like at one point they're like, "And here we're Mod Podging sacred Indian prayers to the wall
Oh
to give
my
it some
god.
cultural edge." And it's like, "Excuse me?
Yeah,
Sacred Indian prayers? What?" Anyway,
firm pass.
firm pass.
Well, you know what? It makes me feel better about us. You know what
You
I
look
mean?
classy as hell in that room, I gotta say.
Me? Oh
Yeah.
well, it's just my farm painting. So
Yeah, your bucolic farm painting is really like nailing it, you know?
this actually is. It's a very shishi kind of room. It looks. And also online, it said it was like a 3-star hotel or something. I was like, but it looks
It
beautiful, and it
looks
keeps.
fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, tell that to the reviewers. Tell that on Beach Too Sandy.
I
But
will,
this
you
is
know.
actually a beautiful hotel.
I will.
Oh, why do you drink, Christine? And dear God, what do you drink?
Well, I just drank a bunch of coffee. I was supposed to save it for the episode. I couldn't. It's my Boston University mug that Blaze
Love
bought
her.
me when we visited. So before I knew you, she's older than our friendship.
Oh.
And that's it because I woke up and my aura ring said, "Hey, something's really wrong."
When is it? That girl needs a break. Your aura ring.
I
Oh my
know, she
God.
goes through a lot. I charge her,
Give her
like,
a
all
rest.
the time because she's always just on the go. And it was like, "Your temperature was up, like, significantly overnight," and I was
Oh.
like, "Great." And so then I was like, "I think I'm fine." And then I went to lay down in my bed, and I was like, "I'm asleep." And so I slept, like, 2 more hours, and now I'm here, and I'm still in my jammies, which is my cool shark shirt that we bought in Florida together,
Love that.
and it says hard to see, but somewhere in there it says, "Bite me."
I love that.
Yeah. Um,
Are
why I
you feeling
drink.
well?
I feel fine. I'm
Okay.
here.
Sure.
No, I feel okay. I think I needed a lot more sleep. I slept like almost a total of 24 hours over the last 3 days. I think my body was like doing its little pickup
Up
like,
and down.
"Hey, we need to sleep now." So I'm okay. I'm just, chugging along and melting alive over here. How but I drink coffee, sadly all gone now. And I drink because I'm apparently falling apart, but what else is new?
I mean, I'm sure our listeners would like to know how you're doing on tour.
Oh, thank you for asking. Well, we are trying to get the word out. A lot of people are not realizing, and it makes me crazy because remember when we'd go somewhere,
Yeah.
and we'd be
We did that a lot. Yeah.
yeah, we'd be pushing a show like Tampa or Florida, whatever, like
Yeah.
over and over, and then like a week later, people would be like, "When don't you ever come to Florida?" And it
It's
made me wanna.
infuriating.
It is like the most like you wanna like rip your hair out because you're
It's
like, "Where
infuriating.
were
Or
you?"
even like when we were like promoting our book, and then a week later, someone's like, "You should write a book," and I'm like, "Where
Oh
are
my.
you okay? Where like did you just check out of the phone? Where?"
It's like, "Wow, don't yell at me. I was just next door to you. I was there. I was waiting." Oh, and then somebody, you know who you are, commented, "Oh, you should come back to about me and my brother. You should come back to Florida or to Tampa because I had tickets and I was so excited, but then I forgot you were coming, so I missed the show." And I'm
Oh
like,
my
"I am
god.
not coming back for that. Somebody skipped their hysterectomy to come to M's at my shows.
That's
So
right.
you know what? I'm not. No, no. The bar is very high, my friend. I'm not
And
coming back
we
there."
we haven't forgotten you, hysterectomy girl. We have
We talk
thought
about
about
you
you often.
regularly, regularly.
We're like, wow, talk about a devoted fan base.
I mean,
That's
really. We were like, "You shouldn't have done that, but thank you for doing it."
it's like you could have
um,
stayed home. We would have understood.
yeah, we
Well, I'm sorry, Christine.
oh, well, thank you. It's just, we're out there. Yeah, if you're interested in seeing us, it's really fun. We read 1-star reviews of your town live on stage. It's very enjoyable. Random people from the podcasting space are probably going to show up at different events, so maybe you'll
Nice.
spot someone you recognize in the audience. I don't know. But yeah, it's fun. We're going all over the place. We're going to California, not LA though, but we're going to a few spots in California. We're going to Omaha, Nebraska,
I'm
Kansas
so jealous.
City, Plano, all sorts of weird spots. So anyway, come see us. It's going to be really fun. And it's fun. It's different than our touring because my brother and I share a hotel room.
Oh, no,
and, so,
Christine.
and so that's always a very weird, like, difference between touring. Like, a lot of it's the same, traveling, blah, blah, prepping. And then the hotel room is like just us bickering about what to watch on TV. So,
Is it is I'm sure a portion of it is fun, but how much of it you do just, like, revert back to being, like, little kids, siblings, and,
I think
do you get in a fight and then you have to go on stage? Like, what happens?
no, no, thank God. I think we were so toxic with one another for so many years and so badly that now we're like, "Oh, that's not worth existing in that in that way. We
Sure.
gotta be us against the world rather than just like I feel like when we were kids, it was like just this constant. I mean, we're 2 years apart. I feel like that's just how it goes. But now we're like, oh no, fuck everyone else. Not everyone else, but the people that I feel like have created some problems for us. We're like, fuck them. We're
Mhm.
on our own team now. So it's kind of a nice little like change of pace. We do occasionally bicker, but not really. I feel like I mean, knock on wood. We haven't had a real like we
Blowout.
the last knockout drag out fight we had what is it? Knockdown drag out fight was in Koreatown when we lived there. And Blaze's brother lived with us and Allie lived with us. And Blaze had to get between us. It was like physical.
Really?
Oh yeah. I threw my phone so hard against the wall. It shattered into a million pieces. My brother was like I mean, we were and then guess what? We
What?
had to record that night because we realized an episode came out at midnight
Oh,
for Beach
girl.
Too Sandy. Yeah, so we kinda got it out of our system, I think, I
Oh my
hope.
god. I It's moments like that where I'm like, "Whew, being an only child was easy breezy,
Trust me,
man."
sometimes I look at Leona and I'm like, "It'll be fun for you to have a playmate," and then I'm like but also like, "Oh my god, the scream," like, I don't know, I don't want the throwing and the screaming, but then we have that anyway with her, so I'm like I mean, not in like a
Do
just
you and her go to
in a
blows
talk
like that?
right, we just start, like I just throw my phone across the room. No, no, no. That does not happen nowadays, but with my brother, man, we could really hit those, but I think we've, both done some very intensive inner work and therapy and, have come to realize we're maybe on the same team instead of
I also don't think
opposing forces.
it sounds like every sibling rivalry or sibling relationship is like that. Like, I used to watch Deirdre throw her brother down the stairs.
Yeah,
Like,
right, yes,
like,
yes.
what the hell's
Yeah, you're
going on
like,
here?
"Hey, is that?" And then suddenly they're, like, best friends again, and you're like, "What the fuck is that about?"
I
Like,
was always so excited to go back home, and I was like, "Oh my
"Yeah, get
god,
me
this
out of here." I
what is
don't
this,
blame you.
Animal Planet?" Um,
Yeah, kind of.
well, so are there any cities coming up that you're really excited for? I'll
Thank
say
you for
that.
asking. Yes,
Great. I
I'm
guess we'll find
sure.
out when you get there.
I'm sure there are. No, I'm really excited. I love Kansas City because Live Laugh Larceny's coming, which is really fun, and we love them. And so we're gonna get to see them. So, we're going to Chicago. I don't know. We have just a lot of like
I
places,
don't
just like kind of random throughout, a smattering.
I don't mean to tell you what to do when you're in Kansas City,
Mhm.
but I
Please do.
think this week an adult Chuck E. Cheese opened up. It's called like Chuck's Arcade or something.
Well, 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 everyone. Now I think we have plans. And guess what? We just got the ticket counts. Kansas City was the only city that didn't add any tickets after we posted about the live shows.
Hmm.
So either they found out about this adult Chuck E. Cheese and made other plans, which is entirely possible. Maybe we'll all just go there instead.
I can't you know what you all should really do is you should, instead of having shows in comedy clubs, you should just have them in like a place you plan on
I
reviewing.
think
Like,
that's a great idea.
I'm sure you've talked about that at some point in your
Well, we do read a review of the venue at the end, but it's always like a positive one. And it's usually about the act, meaning
Mhm.
us, because it's funny to say, oh, the comedians are so funny. And we're like, yeah,
Mhm.
it is. Bye. Have a good night, everyone. But yeah, I think to do it in a venue with many reviews would be really enjoyable.
at Chuck's Arcade. Are you
I
kidding me?
mean, it's hard to
Oh,
argue
well.
with that, yeah.
Anyway, it's the one thing well, that's not true. There was a few things on my Kansas City list I didn't get to, but I knew
It's a
about
lot going on in that town, I feel like.
I was floored. I love
Yeah,
Kansas City. I didn't
I do
realize how much
too.
shit
It's
was
a
going on over there.
cool town.
But that one just opened, so I only heard about it and never got to even
Ugh.
have it on my list when we were there. So,
Well, look at my count. I don't know when my show is, but someday it's gonna be there and you can come. It'll be great.
that would be
Why do
great.
you drink, Em, besides your beautiful art acquirement?
Besides the millions I just
Or
lost on that art piece,
acquisition, I should
my
say.
acquisition, yeah.
Millions.
Well, billions. I'm trying to be humble here,
Billions, I'm
but
so sorry.
um, let's see.
You
Why do I
thought world
drink?
hunger, dusty bucolic painting.
Yeah, I just
The
want to
choice
sit
is
next
easy.
to the dirty floor. I don't want to be in it, you know?
Right, exactly. That makes you kind of like an everyman.
Thank you. Let me drink this water with my pinky out, actually, while we're at it.
Oh, okay. I won't
Let me
interrupt.
see. Why do we drink? Well, I I hesitate to say because I don't know when this comes out versus when I tell Allison, but there is Hank got his DNA results back, which we should discuss I think for Patreon.
Yes, yappy hour.
Let's just put it this way, not what I expected.
No. Okay, yappy hour time. Yep, we're going to do it in yappy hour. By the way, we're so excited. People are joining like crazy. It's so exciting. People on Spotify and Apple Podcasts now are able to connect to the Yappy Hour. So we're adding some people to our little after school clubhouse.
Yeah, no, it's very fun, and that means even more people will get to play along while I tell you what's going on in his DNA.
Can I guess? Like, can we play like a little
Yeah,
game?
of course.
Yay.
What, I'm just gonna tell you? Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Here's the thing: is that Allison and I are always on the fence about if we'll ever have kids. So this might be the closest to like a reveal we get.
A gender reveal.
Part of me is like maybe I don't tell Allison and I just like throw like a breed reveal with her and our
Cool,
friends.
that's normal,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
So I don't know if I'm gonna tell her, which is why I want to make a Patreon because even Allison doesn't have Patreon. She listens to our main feed.
Yeah.
So Allison, you don't get to know until I tell you.
I get to know. Teehee. I don't pay for
everyone else gets to
Patreon
know.
either. Haha.
Everyone else gets to know. So I drink because of that, where I was like, oh, this is gonna give me so many answers, and now I just have more questions. I'm like, so what do I do with this information?
Yeah, I can't wait. Oh, I'm so excited.
Remind everyone what Geo is.
He is a German Shepherd mixed with Shih Tzu, mixed with Chow Chow, mixed
Wild.
with Dachshund. And then Pit Bull is the biggest amount. So it's Pit Bull, German Shepherd, Chow Chow, Shih Tzu are like even, and then a little Dachshund.
That's wild. Because I would have just thought German Shepherd
Isn't that
Corgi
weird?
or something, or German Shepherd Dachshund
And it's
maybe.
like so
But
specific. And then he has that blue tongue like a Chow Chow. So it all kind of mixes together. And he's like the coloring of a German Shepherd, but he's shrunken. He has an attitude of a
yeah.
Shih Tzu. You know, it's all just kind of like the butt curtain, you know.
Well, I'll tell you with Geo, at least every single one you listed, there is an attribute
You
to
can
him
find.
that
Yeah,
makes
that's
it.
true.
Hank?
I can't wait.
It might as well have said 100% poodle because I'm like, what is going on here? I really like it's to a point where I'm like, do I need to like go do like a second test and see if they
What is that called?
compare?
A second opinion? Get a second opinion.
I kind of want to go undercover and go to the same company
Like
and
maybe
do it
they
twice.
mixed the dogs up, you know? Like
I
maybe
feel
they
like
put the vial in the wrong.
I feel like they gave me like Fifi's DNA and like it's I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Fifi
Anyway.
the poodle, the 100% poodle that the owner paid like $6,000 for and is now finding out it's like whatever Hank is.
Like certainly not a purebred. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, so I drink because of that because I'm a little confused, and also on top of that, I'm mainly more drinks. I'm like, how am I going to announce it to Allison? Like, this is the closest to, like announcing something like that that we've gotten and probably might get. So
Yeah, when I got Geo's,
to be a
I
big deal.
was working at Disney Kids or whatever the fuck it was called. Disney XD, that's what it was called. And I was a PA and we had a laminator at the office. And so I printed the results and I laminated them and then I put them up on the like,
I would do the same thing.
employee board along with a picture of Geo that I also laminated. And then they told me to stop using the laminator. But I was very excited and proud. And everybody did give me the chance to announce it. And then they were like, you need to go back to work and eat your lunch on the parking lot floor. And I was like, okay, bye.
No, there's something about office culture where, like, you live for the little announcements
You
like
gotta
that.
have some fun. You
Yeah.
gotta use the laminator for fun sometimes.
Yeah. There was, one girl when we lived, yikes, capitalism, when we worked
Basically.
at ISS, um, at the prop house, uh, there was one girl who was gonna have a baby, and I remember it was, like, a huge thing in my department of, like, "Oh, what color hair is the baby gonna have?" It was
Yeah.
just, like, something to
You're just, like,
make the
all
day go by.
betting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, anyway, so I totally get it. I would've been as excited as you probably.
Let's all take bets as the episode goes on about what Hank is, and then at the end, we'll all figure out who won.
I'll give you some options. I'll give you a list of, like, some things he might be or
Okay,
whatever, and yeah, yeah, yeah.
cool.
Anyway, that's why I drink. 'Cause he's
That's
more
very
of a mutt than I
exciting.
thought, so
I remember just how exuberant I was when those came in for GO. I like 10 years ago now. I mean, not 10, but close.
my dopamine did spike. I went
Yeah, it'll do
because
that.
they make you wait a long time for those results.
They really make it kind of a game. Yeah. Hey, you remember how you got allergies?
I do. Yes, yes, it's true.
Oh my gosh. Well, how did it go? Because I one time thought I should look into my allergies and I went, never mind, that sounds complicated. But I hadn't thought of ZocDoc, which was my own dumb fault.
You know, now that I am talking to a doctor about my allergies, I'm actually feeling so much better. Also, since I'm not near my dog this week, I'm
Well,
feeling
that helps.
incredible.
That
But
helps too.
but I will tell you that if I didn't have ZocDoc, I would have phlegm. And it's been very wonderful. ZocDoc can get you all allergy relief fast so you can beat sneezing season and
Ugh.
make spring a little less sniffy.
ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality in network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about booking in network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and more. I think across the board, Em and I have used ZocDoc for
Hmm.
almost all of those categories over the years. It really,
Since the dawn of our friendship, I've been
since
using
the dawn
ZocDoc.
of knowing one another and ZocDoc, yes.
Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/drink to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/drink, ZocDoc.com/drink. Christine, I am in Carolina. Hello, I'm an American. North Carolina, I know my states. Um, and I am in the middle of a little adventure, but the next time you're craving your next action-packed adventure, Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your
Oh,
command.
right. So I don't need to travel to Carolina to get my fix. I can actually just open
You
my
just
phone.
close your eyes and wander away. Yes.
I just listened to Demon Copperhead, and that was one of the best books I've read in a long time. Really, really beautiful, really
Oh,
good. Highly recommend. Audible is always getting me the best stuff, right? My adventures right here. I don't even need to leave the house like M does. They have gripping titles that keep you guessing, exclusive, captivating Audible originals, and hotly anticipated new releases. So get on it.
start listening and discover what's beyond the edge of your seat. New members can try Audible now free for 30 days and dive into a world of new thrills.
Visit audible.com/drink or text drink to 500 500. That's audible.com/drink or text drink to 500 500.
All right. Well, I've got a little story for you.
Woo.
And speaking of that wonderful art piece that you
Mm.
mentioned behind me and just really wildly complimenting this hotel room so much, I'm going to talk about this hotel. And I got a room after I did notes on it. So
Shut
I
up.
so I'm staying with Allison's family right now, and everyone but Allison and I have a small baby at the moment. And not only that, they also have dogs that are loud sometimes or just move around a lot. It was advised to me that I don't record in anyone's house.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard with the big in-law gatherings.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, well, I'll get a hotel, and then I started doing research by accident on a hotel in the area, and I was like, I'm just gonna go record there then.
Hell yes.
So I'm talking about the Dunhill Hotel.
So this is okay, wait. So when did we do what was the hotel we just did in Tucson?
Hotel Congress.
Were you there when Oh no, you did the research there.
I did the research there.
Okay, so this one this might be the second time ever we're recording from the haunted location because The other one was our 300th at Winchester.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know that you've ever recorded from a haunted place, like
In the moment,
in the
yeah.
moment. Yeah.
Live.
Live.
So if something happens, I've already told the ghost here, I'm like, if something happens, as long as it's on camera, I'm cool with
Don't
it.
touch that $1 billion painting.
I just say, please, God, don't mess with the internet. That's
If
all I
something
ask of
happens
you.
to your pillows, I'm gonna be starting to scream loudly.
Well, so people be on the lookout because I said out loud that whoever is here can do whatever they want as long as it's on camera, as long as it's
Hell
within
yeah.
frame.
Hell yeah.
Um, it made me start thinking. Actually, I was like, what a fun little like a secondary series that would be of like just recording me in random hotel rooms across
Yeah.
the country.
And just like having like an action cam to see if anything
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, because we both know I love traveling. What if I just spent 24 hours in multiple places and
Yeah.
while I was there, I had to stay in a haunted place and like report on it? You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
that sounds fantastic. Let's do it.
It just has to be hotels like this where there's like a couple hotspots versus like Queen Mary. And it's like, oh, me by myself and the Queen Mary. There's not enough
It's
cameras
not
in the
very
world for that.
feasible. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, we'll shop it. We'll shop it.
We'll work it.
Anyway, this is the Dunhill Hotel, and I am recording in here right now. Let's get started. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. And in 1926, ghosts, if I say anything wrong, let me know.
Smack M on the head.
That would be cruel, Christine. That's not Christian of you.
It's Catholic of me, though.
In 1926, the land for this hotel was bought by two doctors in town. And the plan was that this building was going to be half a hotel, but half apartments for locals. So it was going to be kind of pseudo-permanent resident housing.
Don't you always feel bad when you're going into a hotel and someone lives there and you're trying to figure out the elevator and they're like trying to get to their floor?
Yeah, and they have all their groceries. Yeah.
And they're just like, please, you have to tap the card first. And I'm like, oops. Yeah.
I do always feel, it doesn't happen a lot, but I do feel a little silly when I'm in a hotel in like a place I know very well, and then everyone's like, I wonder what we'll see while we're here. And I'm so jaded. I'm like, you'll see nothing, kid.
Yeah.
You know,
Just step aside.
let me get to my room. So it was originally a 100-room building, and it was literally 50-50. It was going to be hotel rooms versus apartments. Fun fact, the two doctors that founded this or bought this property and had this big vision, they were Dr. Matheson and Dr. Peeler, and they founded what still exists today, the Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Hospital.
Oh, okay.
If you care, now you know. Great. And also fun fact, because I know you love to know this information, the land was priced back then at $250,000, which today is over $4.5 million.
Ooh, boy. Okay.
Which is the price of that art behind me, I'll tell you.
That just about.
So one reason it was so pricey is because the building was going to be in a very sought after place in Charlotte. It was right in the main hub of town. And one of the first architects in town is the one who built the hotel. His name was Louis Asbury Sr. And fun fact, there's now a restaurant downstairs named after him called the Asbury.
Ooh, it makes a nice name.
If you've got a name like that, use it. Fun fact, again, you know I love these. This building was originally called the Mayfair Manor. You know, I love a manor, Christine.
You love a manor.
I love a manor. What type of house do I want? A manor every time.
Only a manor.
So it was originally the Mayfair Manor, and some sources I saw were confusing it and calling it the Mayflower, like the ship.
Not the same.
Not the same. Maybe at some other point in time when it like switched hands briefly, maybe it was called the Mayflower, but the original name was Mayfair Manor. In case you're hearing otherwise. Asbury, the architect, made the hotel so that it would be one of the tallest buildings in town, and his like plan, which I think it worked out, is that he wanted it to be seen against Charlotte's skyline. So if you were looking at the skyline, you could see his hotel.
He wanted his mark on the skyline.
Exactly. Yeah. Nice. So in November 15th, 1929, the hotel opened. Now, November 15th, 1929 is just a little over 2 weeks after the stock market crashed. Yikes.
Oh, shit. 1929. Oh, my God.
And they're like, as this opened,
hooray,
the Great Depression.
It's like so awkward.
Really awkward. It's like, now you can't afford to even stay here.
That's like 2 weeks after COVID started or some like other like
Yes,
international or national disaster. Like, oh my God.
that's a great comparison. It's
Awkward
like,
timing.
we're gonna open the best restaurant in town. Never
Like
mind, we
we're all
lost all of
really
our money.
busy about something else. Yeah.
Luckily, though, because this hotel was still in the middle of constructing some, I guess, last bits of it, and there was a whole need for people to work in hotels, this actually provided a lot of jobs for people in Charlotte who had just been laid off or lost all their money.
Oh, okay. That's good.
So
Yeah.
it actually worked out that they needed a job, and it was so new and well known that people were coming in anyway. So
Okay. All right.
worked out. However, by the 50s, 1959, one of the doctors who bought the property, he died and the hotel was then sold off, and it became a pretty common thing, it seems, throughout its run from 1959 into the 80s, that it would get sold off, bought by somebody, sold off, bought by somebody, to a point where I'm not going to sit here and bother everybody listing all that.
Mhm.
But with each time it was handed off to another person or entity, the hotel quickly was just deteriorating. It was very outdated. It wasn't being taken care of. And by 1980, the property was like, we can't be a hotel anymore. We're thinking about turning it into condos. Even that fell through. And so within the next year, the hotel officially closed and became abandoned for many years. So a lot of squatters, a lot of homeless people stayed in here.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I am in my mind, like the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like you have all this property, all these rooms, all this space, and it's like just
Yeah.
shuttering the doors. Yeah.
And the irony that during the literal Great Depression, like this would be a booming business and any other time it was struggling is weird.
That's really actually a good point. Yeah. That's interesting. A manor of all things.
Come on.
Come
The
on.
second they said, you know what, it's not the Manor anymore, we're going to change its name. Downhill.
Womp womp.
So in 1987, that's 6 years since it became vacant. The hotel was bought again and renovated for $6 million in 87, which is now $17 million today.
Ooh.
And the hotel was renamed the Dunhill. Now, I think it was renamed the Dunhill because the company that bought it is called like Dunhill Associates or something. It's kind of a boring reason. I was thinking like there's a big lavish explanation.
I thought they were like going Dunhill, down the hill. I don't know.
Yeah, something. I was like, at least give me a reason, but nope. That's a poo-poo on the name, but I was really hoping for a fun fact for you. When it did reopen as the Dunhill in 87 or 88, the hotel now had 60 rooms instead of 100, and it has stayed in business ever since. And as of the 90s, it joined the Historic Hotels of America program, and it has been given multiple awards, including the award in excellence for Best Historic Hotel in the country.
Wow. Okay,
And it's
Dunhill.
3 stars on Google. How? I don't
What is
understand.
wrong with you people?
And that's the history. So now I'm just
Hey.
gonna tell you the ghosts.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, and this is where the ghost should really chime in. Reports started very early on in the hotel's history that there was something spooky going on. Staff would say that there were rooms that they just could not go in without feeling something really eerie. A quote that I read was about walking into these rooms. They said they would feel shivers that, quote, started in their spines and then traveled over their skulls.
Okay, that's a little too specific for me. Like, just say like, ooh, a chill down the spine.
Something weird's going on.
Yeah, they're like a
not-
chill up the spine, not down. Like,
my skull is entrapped with shivers. Yeah.
forget it.
People would hear noises in empty rooms. They would see apparitions throughout the building. And unfortunately, some of those apparitions and sounds were residual hauntings from multiple suicides here.
Oh no.
Because if you recall, the hotel was one of the tallest in the city,
Oh geez.
and it opened right after the stock market crashed.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, yeah.
So this was quite a space for
That's
a while.
sad.
Which also, like, talk about I don't know what the right word is, the layers involved of like opening up this hotel. Somehow it's surviving the Great Depression. Everyone's coming here. Everyone's making money. It's like a bright spot on a sad time. And on the roof, people are jumping. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, how do you, if this was their first time managing a hotel, they were navigating a lot fast.
Yeah. The hospitality industry is already a very tough one. I imagine this was like times 10.
I feel like they were going into work every day being like, "What am I about to walk
I mean,
into?"
it's again, like, not to keep drawing comparisons, but it's again like COVID times. Like, you have no clue what the fuck
Mhm.
is gonna happen every day and like what new obstacles.
Yeah. Um, so now unfortunately, people claim to see those moments replaying on the property.
Oh,
One woman, for example, this was the I have chills just thinking about it. One woman kept
up
hearing
your
heavy
head? Up your
uh,
skull?
in my eyeballs, actually,
Oh
so
god!
they didn't mention that in the notes. One woman kept hearing heavy footsteps above her despite being on the top floor,
Oh no, the roof, oh no.
and she went to look out her window and at that exact moment saw a man
Oh no.
falling past her window from the roof.
Oh no.
She freaked out and looked over the ledge and saw a man now on the ground. He was in an old-fashioned suit and hat on the sidewalk.
Oh,
She tried to call, like, the hotel phone for help, and the phone wouldn't work. So she ran downstairs, and when she went outside to the sidewalk, nobody was there, even
oh
though she
my.
had just seen a lot of blood
Hey, that
in a
sucks too
person.
because that's so traumatizing, but like it's not quote unquote real. Like you're not.
Mhm.
So it's like, how do you reconcile with that trauma if people are like, no, but you didn't really see anything? It's like, but I literally thought I witnessed somebody die by suicide, you know?
That's such a good point because I in one way, first of all, seeing whether it's real or not,
Right.
seeing the details of someone die by suicide, die at all,
Right.
anything graphic is traumatic. But on top of it, what you're saying of like the reality part of it, it reminds me of those people who claim that they've lived in glitches in the Matrix or they have vivid
Oh,
dreams of another family,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden, like you just have to
You're
live in
like
a space
alone. You're
where
like, I don't,
that
nobody
was all
else.
fake.
Totally. And it's like, well, it was real to me, but nobody else. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of trauma for her, I'm
I
sure.
wonder if it was like a time slip because the phone didn't work. I wonder if it was like she like entered a
Mm.
time slip and like saw everything happening. The phone wasn't the right.
Didn't exist back
Yeah,
then, yeah.
exactly. Like you're not allowed to use that.
That's actually very interesting. Although, riddle me this then. That night after he fell and nothing happened, she just went back up to her room 'cause she was like, "I guess I was seeing something."
Yeah.
For the rest of the night, she saw the man fall past her window multiple times,
Oh no.
then laying on the ground below, and then vanishing like nothing happened.
I would yeah, I mean, you'd have to think you'd like check yourself in somewhere. Like I
Call
would
an
be
asylum. I'm
right?
in.
Like I would be so concerned about my mental health if that were happening.
Yeah.
That's
I wonder
terrible.
what year that was because 'cause I'd be like, "Get a camera, get my phone, call
Something.
something."
It probably
I'd
doesn't
be
work if the phone doesn't work.
Oh, you're totally right.
Whew.
Yeah, so imagine not just the trauma that we were just talking about, but now it's happening
Like
over and over and you can't
repeating
escape
and you
it.
know nobody else can see it, forget it.
And I wonder how many times is multiple times, like, was it 3? I mean, that's enough,
That's enough.
certainly,
Yeah.
but, like, I'm not gonna say only 3,
And it's like,
really?
do you close your curtains and you're still hearing it or like the footsteps? Like what? I
Yeah.
don't know. That's just awful.
Do you hear anything at all? Do you hear, like, a voice out the window, like, screaming? Or I don't know, but it's awful.
It's
And, like
awful.
and you hope it's the blueprint theory where this is all
Yeah,
residual and
right.
not like this person wants
It's like
your attention.
re-experiencing this or trying to like show it to you intentionally. Right, right, right.
Well, so that woman later was obviously fascinated, even morbidly, by her experience. So she
Mhm.
went and looked up the history of the hotel and learned that the night she was staying there was the 50th anniversary of a man jumping off the roof.
Oh my god.
I'm in that building right now, by the way.
Ah!
I just remembered. I was like, "Oh my god," and then I was
You're
like,
like,
"Oh,
that's
same
so
roof."
scary.
Yeah. So, other activity throughout the hotel includes water taps turning on and off by themselves, lamps flickering on and off by themselves, phantom smells, which nobody like spoke on. I'm like, I feel like I would like to know what those smells are, but maybe something
Yeah.
boring like perfume.
Mm.
Um, Temperature changes, voices, footsteps, apparitions that disappear after you spot them. Apparently, there is a lady in white here who I only saw in one source, but
Oh,
apparently
I thought you were
she
gonna say you saw her. I was like, "Oh,
no.
she's there."
Unfortunately, no. She, I guess, appears in the banquet hall and then disappears once you spot her. So,
Hmm.
but there is a lady in white because there's always a lady in white. Um, Oh, figures at the foot of your bed. People claim that they feel something grabbing their ankles when they're sleeping.
Good
just a
night.
firm no.
Forever.
People hear laughter in the lobby when it's totally empty. The
Eh.
shampoo bottles rearrange themselves.
Oh, okay.
Which, like, do they rearrange themselves when you're in or out of the
Right.
shower? That very much depends on
And,
how
like,
scared I
for
am.
what purpose, really?
Yeah. Again, you hope it's just a blueprint thing where, like, you
Yeah. Like,
time
this is
slipped
how
into,
they
like, their world.
yeah.
But yeah, if I was in the shower naked and exposed and I'm watching them move themselves like Casper, we've got a problem.
Big
But
problem.
yeah. Anyway, and then glasses move by themselves in the bar, which I hope is them taking a swig of something, you know?
I would hope. Yeah.
Well, one employee in the office was in the office on her break and she watched one of the office chairs next to her swivel 360 degrees and then stop when facing her.
Ah! I'd be like, keep turning away from me.
She apparently instead said, "Ah!" And she was like, "I'm not sitting in there ever again."
No.
Um, One couple kept waking up because they felt something staring at them and they could hear laughter coming through their vents, which you hope is a person, but
What?
you hope it's a person next door, but that also is like super eerie in
Ew, because it's
general.
always like in a corner or like somewhere up high, like the vent,
Yeah.
it's just like I don't want it coming from the floor or the ceiling. That's just creepy.
Also, if it's coming from the vent, it's far away and echoey enough that you're like, maybe is something talking to me? Like, what? Why do I keep hearing
Like it's
voices?
like muffled enough that you can't clearly hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, the second, ninth, and 10th floors are said to be the most haunted. That was the AC. Holy shit.
It's like I
Getting my
didn't hear anything. I just saw you turn your head and I was like, goodbye,
I,
everybody.
my favorite thing about you, Christine, is that whenever there's a haunted moment, your knee jerk reaction is
It's
goodbye,
time to say
goodbye.
goodbye to
It's
the
always
world.
the exact same.
Goodbye, cruel world.
Yeah. I being in pitch black rooms where you did that was I
Goodbye.
can't escape it. Anytime I get scared now, I hear
I
it
don't know where
whispering in
that
the back
came
of my
from. I have
head.
no clue, but it really is my knee jerk reaction. What floor are we allowed to know what floor you're on, or is that something you're going to talk about later?
We'll talk about it in a second.
Okay.
So the second, the ninth, and the 10th floors are the most haunted. Um, the second floor, I don't really understand why, but the ninth and 10th floors make sense because they're the tallest
Okay.
floors. Um, and the room 906 is the most active. Now, Christine, because you asked,
Ah! 906!
I'm
Ah!
currently in room 906.
Yeah, you are. Did you request it?
Of course, can you imagine?
No,
That
I
would
know. That's why I was like, there's no way in hell they just did that.
No, I just booked whatever because I booked this at like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm just gonna book a room and then I'll just ask when I get there. And I was like, fat chance, book is 906 available. And they said, oh yeah, someone just walked on out, just
Hell
checked
yeah.
out. And I went, that one, please.
Someone just checked out running, screaming through the lobby. You can have it.
A trail of ectoplasm was following them.
Oh my God. Wait, so you're in the most haunted room?
I am.
This is so exciting now. Wow. Okay, I'm watching so closely behind you.
I know. And this hotel, by the way, is said to be one of the most haunted spaces in Charlotte, which
Oh
is
my
interesting.
gosh,
So
that
it's on all the
feels
listicles. So
damn.
So 906, this is things that might happen while I'm here. People say that everything in there feels off. I will say I do feel like I'm being watched.
Okay. I am
Um,
watching you and so are many people, but that's probably different, right?
Good point. And I also don't know if it's like cuz I walked in primed for that.
Right, you're primed, right?
I don't feel anything negative for
Well, that's
sure.
good.
Yeah. Maybe at night I would, but haha, I'm not going to be here at night. So, um people say everything in the room feels off. People apparently have a hard time sleeping in here. People claim that they get heart palpitations for no reason. Jokes
Good
on
for
them. I brought my
you.
propranolol.
Okay, I was like, and that seems like a terrible idea.
They might be trying and I just can't feel it. So,
Haha.
people say that their items go missing. People have had their hotel keys, like their room keys stop working for no reason. The one that I'm the most freaked out about for some reason is the curtains moving on their own.
Okay, well, that's what I've been staring at this whole time. So I'll tell you if the pillows or curtains move. That's where my eyes have been
This is your
locked
moment,
in.
ghosts of the Dunhill Hotel. Move the curtains.
Imagine I just
Mm,
started screaming.
that would have been crazy. Or if all of a sudden I just heard, you know.
Oh, I wish. I wish I had some sort of like lever system I could have done.
Well, I did, there were a few interviews where someone that works here said that the curtains moving is one of the more common things here, or the blinds moving.
And I
Um,
feel like if you saw that in the room, it wouldn't be you'd be like, "Whoa," and then maybe you'd brush it off. But if we
mhm,
saw that on camera, like, that would be pretty cool because you can rewind and see, like, if anybody's touching it, you can see if their air is moving it.
exactly, yeah, if there's a
Mm.
draft, yeah.
Mhm.
But I guess one of the reasons people leave this room the most is because the curtains
Oh, really?
and the blinds move themselves. People have literally gone downstairs and been like, "You have to go get my luggage," because the blinds are just opening and closing by themselves.
Ew, 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 I just got goose cam.
I feel something in here now
Me
all of a
too, I
sudden,
feel
yeah.
gross now. Cool.
The
Welcome to the
Yay!
recording.
The electronics here, turn on and off by themselves. TV, this is your moment. Oh,
Watch the computer just shut off.
yeah, well,
Wrong
that's why I
electronic.
came in here and I was like, "Please don't mess with my computer, you can mess with anything
Yeah,
else."
anything else, please. We gotta get this episode out there.
I just checked to make sure I'm recording, so,
LOL.
electronics go on and off, the drawers open and close themselves, horrifying, and one of the most common things people wake up to, or one of the most common things that happen here is that people wake up to the sound of knocking and tapping on the nightstand, which I am just sitting
Forget
next
it. You've
to.
really positioned yourself in the perfect spot for my viewing pleasure. Thank you.
It is, as one of my first times doing this, it is very weird to be sitting next to the thing I'm talking about.
I am loving this. I agree with you that this should be a new thing where you just go and we can all like watch the background and see like if anything happens. I really like it.
You
For
know what?
me, I don't know if you like it, but I think it's really
I don't
cool.
hate the idea of doing some sort of like travel series where I just talk
Sit
about
in the
every
haunted
haunted hotel.
I mean, I think it's awesome, and then you can see if anything goes on. I love it.
Comment below thoughts.
Comment below. Let us know if you see anything move.
One woman stayed here in this room, and apparently, pretty much every phenomenon I just explained all happened back to back, where she woke up to knocking, then the TV would turn on and off, then something else would. She said appliances. I'm assuming TV. There's not a fridge in here. She said appliances kept turning on and off. So maybe the lamps, then the water was going on and off, and the curtains.
Ugh.
And then she basically screamed because she was getting scared, and then everything stopped. And when she looked at the clock, it was exactly 3 a.m.
Oh, it
Of
was in the middle of the
course.
night too? Oh, no, 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 no.
The main ghost of the hotel, which I was warned of when I checked into 906, by the way, they
Uh-oh.
said, "Oh, yeah, well, look out for Dusty, but don't worry, he's very friendly."
Dusty.
Dusty.
You know I love Dusty already.
First of all, incredible name.
Yeah, but fucking kick-ass name.
If I ever had to be a cowboy specifically and my name wasn't Dusty, I'd say we're trying again.
I was gonna say Hank or Dusty, and you already have Hank covered. So,
I
but
do.
Dusty's also such a good, like, little cowboy name. I love it.
Like, you're meant to be outside.
For sure. Tumbleweeds, step aside.
Imagine if your name's Dusty and you just, like, don't leave the basement. Well, I
You're
guess maybe the basement's dusty.
It's pretty dusty. Imagine if your name is Dusty and you're like a hedge fund
Yeah.
something. That doesn't quite fit unless
You have to go by Dustin.
yeah, you kind of have to unless like it's kind of like, oh, my frat bros called me Dusty, you know, and it's like a thing.
You know he now goes by Dustin, but when his friends from college come into town, they go, "Hey,
Dusty!
Dusty!"
Hey!
Yeah. He's so embarrassed every time.
Yep. If
Um,
Dusty doesn't move your curtains right now, I'm gonna start crying. Come on, step it up. We're summoning you.
Dusty, this is your moment to make a visual sign that you're here. We're all looking for it. Nothing. All right. Well, here's the thing. He's apparently the main ghost here. I don't know about that. I think he's just the most talked about ghost here. He's known to be very mischievous and prank people. People say that he's like the ghost of the Dunhill Hotel, but I also think maybe he's kind of a scapegoat more than anything because there's so many people who've died here. Like, there's
Oh.
probably a lot of stuff going on, and the only reason Dusty is so popular is because it's the way that a lot of staff excuse weird things happening
Oh,
here.
like it's just Dusty.
I think a lot of things happen probably by a lot of different ghosts, and they go, "Oh, that's just Dusty. Oh, that's just Dusty." And I don't even know how the name Dusty came to be. Like, we're just making up things at this point.
Okay, okay.
So
It's like a
maybe there
catch-all
is
ghost.
maybe there is a main ghost, but we don't know that his name's Dusty. Maybe there's no main ghost, and this is just the work of several spirits, and there is no
Mm.
Dusty. I don't know, but whether it's one ghost or multiple, they all seem to be very friendly and just like to pull pranks, and that's about it. So this is the
Mhm.
hotel you would want to experience a
I was gonna
ghost
say, of
in.
all things, it sounds not. I mean, obviously, suicide replays
Yeah.
notwithstanding, it feels like the little pranks and stuff are on the more harmless end. I think.
Hmm.
I hope.
Yeah. The worst thing I saw was that sometimes people get their ankle grabbed. I didn't
Well,
love
that
that.
part. Yeah, that part's not good.
But that also feels like maybe that could still be playful, of like, haha, gotcha. And then
Yeah,
that's
it's
like,
not funny.
it's not funny,
Makes
but
me
it's
so
certainly
mad. I'm like, not playful. Stop it.
alive. If a person did that, I'd go, get the fuck
Yeah,
off me.
you're no longer friends with me. Goodbye.
But if that's the worst thing that happens, then I would still pick that over like, a million other hotels
Like
that I don't want to be
possession
in.
or like attachments and shit. Yeah.
Or violent, yeah, anyone getting
Violence.
like
Yeah.
scratched, yeah.
True.
So just in case he decides to get a little too mischievous at any point, the hotel actually has a drink named after him here in the
Oh,
bar. And I saw online that it's called Ghost Cider, which apparently is vodka with ghost peppers. That sounds awful.
that's trash. Bye.
Maybe they got a lot of feedback like that because I ended up looking at their menu because I plan on ordering lunch at the Asbury after this.
Of course.
And I didn't see ghost cider on the menu, but I did see a drink called the Dusty.
Okay. Is that a little better?
You tell me. It's a smoked drink, which
No.
I would immediately be out.
I'm out.
Anytime, like, this is another one of these things with these fucking bartenders trying to make me
know.
fancy mocktails. They're like, oh, I'm going to smoke it. And I'm like, ew, you're going to make it taste like a tree? Why?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with
like
you?
coal, like charcoal.
Yeah. Like a burnt anything. Like, why would I want my drink also burnt?
Uh-uh.
Anyway, I can't take it. If you ever meet me and want to make me a mocktail, please God don't smoke
I
it.
literally, my brother and I just did an episode of reviews of cocktails, and I went on this rant about you and your mocktails. Not you, but like about your experience
Yeah.
ordering mocktails, and people are like, "Here's some bitters," and you're like, "No,
like,
I
you can
want
fuck
juice.
off with your bitters.
I want juice, delicious juice,
I really
fancy juice."
it's so shameful, but or feels shameful. It shouldn't have to be, but I feel like the only way to get what I want at a bar anymore is to just say, I want fruit punch. Do
Yeah,
what you
like
can with that.
exactly, which I feel like is fair. People figure that out.
Because otherwise people are like, here's some bitters and a lime
And I'll
rind, and I'm gonna
also
smoke it.
Yeah, a
And
lime
now you feel
rind.
fancy. And here's, oh, by the way, give me $16. And I'm like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah,
hell?
yeah, yeah. Now drink it in front of me and tell me how much you like it.
Okay, there have been a few
I
people
know.
who are fans of the show
And they want
who
you to
make me a
like it.
mocktail and they want to watch me like enjoy the drink, and they're really pulling out all the stops, and I'm like, girl, I just want pineapple juice. I don't know what to tell you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I would have been like, this is the best drink I've ever had because I'm just that.
Oh, I did. I
you
was
did.
like,
Good.
this
Okay.
is incredible. And then I just like hoped they weren't looking when I like
Aw, and you hope they're not
didn't finish
listening
it.
right now.
I'm sorry if it's you. You tried really hard and I appreciate that.
We're
The
just too
effort was there.
socially uncomfortable to like say it out loud in the moment. Yeah.
You had the right spirit. It just wasn't.
But you also had the wrong spirit.
Yeah, my mouth wasn't super pleased, but my heart was. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's nice.
So the Dusty is a smoked drink, and tell me, smoked or not, would you drink this? Rye,
No.
okay, bitters, sugar, and cherries.
Oh, so it's like an old fashioned
I guess so.
rye whiskey. Yeah.
Rye, bitters, sugar, and then it has Amarena cherries, which is different apparently than Luxardo cherries, which I'm a
I
massive fan
love
of.
a Luxardo cherry.
If you are gonna make me a mocktail, if you just give me a cup of nothing but
Just
Luxardo
the
cherries, we're
jar.
in
Just put the
business.
jar in front
Just
of
give
you.
me the jar and a spoon. Holy shit.
Just put that in a
Um,
bunch of vodka and I'll be happy to.
Apparently, Amarena cherries are different than Luxardo, but they look the same.
Okay. It sounds good except for the rye.
And the
Everything
bitters.
else I'll drink.
Can you imagine if I call down in 5 seconds, because I can, and I'd be like, can I actually have the Dusty but no rye or bitters? And they're gonna be like, so sugar and cherries? And I'd be like, that, yes,
Sugar
please.
and cherries in a cup.
And
Yep.
don't smoke it, please God.
Yeah, God, please don't smoke it.
Well, okay, so these are some of the things Dusty is said to do most often throughout the building. Like, these are the things that the staff are most often going, oh, that's Dusty for you.
Okay.
He will move your items around. The doors will open and close. He loves to open and close the blinds and the curtains. That's like his big old thing.
Okay, well, you're welcome to do that, Dusty. It's not
with
my
open
room, but I'm
arms,
giving
yeah.
you permission.
Um,
Watch my curtains fucking close. And like I'm like
your curtains.
that's so horrible. Now I'm scared.
The other big thing is that he is known to open and close elevator doors at random on random floors. It doesn't matter. He just likes to fuck with the elevators.
Okay.
So, because he's known to take control of the elevators, many think that this ghost is of a man from 1988 who was found in the elevator shaft.
Oh no. Oh no.
So, remember I told you back in the 1980s when it finally got bought after being vacant and there was like this big several $1 million renovation? While that was going on, were sweeping out the elevator shaft, the old elevator shaft, and they found remains of a human skeleton.
Oh no, that's sad.
And that has now been attributed to Dusty, even though we
Right.
have no evidence of that. It's just we had a ghost and we found a body. Let's put them together.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, after looking at this body and bringing in authorities, forensics could only determine very few things about this set of remains, which was that it was a white male with a limp and a deformed left hand. I don't know if deformed's the right word anymore, but there
Yeah.
was something going on with his left hand.
Okay.
And apparently they said he died within the last 5 years. That's the best they could do.
Back then in the 80s.
In the 80s, yeah.
Okay.
They said he died by 1983 was the earliest he could have died, and this was in
Okay.
1987, 88 that they found him. Around that time, back in the 80s, remember, it was vacant and a lot of people were squatting here.
Mm.
So they assumed it must have just been like a homeless person who lived here. Something happened. I don't know if it was like the elevator fell on him or if it was just like, oh, he was sleeping in the elevator shaft and just died. We don't know. But anyway, that's how people assume that Dusty got here, and we didn't have any more information other than that. But a few years ago in 2022, the remains were re-examined with DNA collecting and Ancestry.com, your favorites. And the remains were traced back to a World War II Army vet named Oliver Mundy, who went by OD. And his family was notified. They confirmed that OD went missing back in the 80s, and he was last seen without proper housing. So there's a chance that he would have been squatting in this building.
Wow, technology is crazy.
So maybe this is where I'm like, is Dusty even real? Maybe this ghost is OD. Maybe neither of them exist. Like, it doesn't really matter. But
Right.
how cool that we at least know who the person
That's-
was and he could
and
be
then
like
they
put
were
to
able to
rest.
contact the family and say like, hey, we like, oh wow.
And they found his relative through Ancestry because
That's
they I
powerful.
guess figured him out elsewhere and then looked him up on Ancestry and they found his niece, I think.
And that makes it so much more relatable. Like it's so easy to say, unfortunately, it's so easy to say, oh, people were squatting and like unhoused folks were in there and somebody died and they found, but like when you say like, oh, this was a vet and this was his family and like he'd gone missing, and I mean it just like adds such a human element to it.
Yeah, it's like it was just someone's uncle.
Yeah, it's really sad.
So that was a major, I think, spooky element to this building for a long time. Like up until 2022, it was
finding
like
a body in the walls in the elevator shaft, that's terrifying.
Yeah, and as of only 3 years ago, that missing persons case is closed.
Wow.
But that certainly, I think, was a big narrative that people drove about, like, oh, and that's how Dusty came here. But we don't know much. We just know that he's the most popular ghost here now that the body has been cleared that it's not Dusty. We don't know how he got here. We don't even know if he's just one ghost or many, like I said. Despite all the deaths on the property, he's usually blamed for most things. So honestly, if he's a random ghost named Dusty and he keeps getting the heat for everything, I feel bad for him too.
Yeah, I hope then he takes that and just runs with it and is like, yeah, you think I'm doing it? Well, fine. Maybe I will do it.
That would almost embolden me to just be worse. I'm like, well, if
I'd
you're
be
going to
like,
blame me
watch
anyway.
this. Exactly.
Anyway, anytime something spooky happens, we don't know. It's
Good
just
old
there was
Dusty.
good old Dusty, and a lot of people died here, unfortunately. So we don't
Uh,
totally have any information outside of that. But that is the Dunhill Hotel. This
Oh
is room 906. We'll see what
gosh.
happens.
I can't believe it when you showed me the key card with 906.
Isn't that fun?
Isn't that fun?
Anyway, that's my
Oh.
story.
So how long are you going to be staying there? Just for the day, or you're not staying overnight, right?
No, I just rented a room and I'm pretending it's my office for the day because
I mean, I love that. I love that you and Dusty are doing one of those co-working spaces. You know,
me and D Dog, we work. You know what I'm saying?
we work. We working with D Dog. Stupid.
The 906 gang, what up, what up? Yeah.
906.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm going to be staring. I'm going to be so distracted during my notes, just like trying to watch the
Every
curtains
now and
move.
then I might just do like a little scan for
Yeah, we'll do a
people.
pan. Yeah.
Yeah. When things get too tough during your story, it's like maybe we just do a
It's like
quick
we'll
little
just do like a
peruse.
little visual cue.
Yeah.
Wow, that was fun, Em. I kind of like this idea that you go to haunted hotels and I just
I like
watch
it a
you
lot.
at them.
And it gives me
So
a reason to go travel. You know I'm gonna miss traveling now that we're
I
not on
know, and I
tour.
like to be home in my bed. So you know what? It's perfect.
Perfect. Okay, everyone start commenting other hotels I should stay in.
Just
Don't
tell us
make
what
them
to do.
super complicated, please.
Yeah, like Table Iceland for now or Tokyo. We'll go there another time.
Table the Crescent Hotel because that was a big one. Like give me like a where there's a notoriously just one
Manageable.
room.
Right, manageable ones.
One room at
Good
a
point.
time.
We'll work our way up. Attention renters! That used to be us, no longer, but man, do we wish this had been around. If you haven't heard of Built, you are about to thank us. Earn your favorite airline miles and hotel points through Built just by paying your rent on time. Let us explain.
There's no cost to join, and just by paying rent, you unlock flexible points that can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, and your next Lyft ride. I mean, so much more.
When you pay rent through Built, you unlock two powerful benefits. First, you earn one of the industry's most valuable points on rent every month. No matter where you live or who your landlord is, your rent now works for you. Second, you gain access to exclusive neighborhood benefits in your city.
Built's neighborhood benefits are things like extra points on dining out, complimentary post workout shakes, free mats and towels at your favorite fitness studios, and unique experiences that only Built members can access. And when you're ready to travel, Built points can be converted to your favorite miles and hotel points around the world, meaning your rent can literally take you places.
So if you're not earning points on rent, our question is, what are you waiting for? Start paying rent through Built and take advantage of your neighborhood benefits by going to joinbuilt.com/drink. That's JOINBILT.com/drink. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/drink to sign up for Built today. Okay, we're not on tour right now, but we were just talking about how Mint Mobile on the tour iPad has been such a blessing in disguise. And I was saying, even though we're not on tour, I still use it. Like we were on a trip recently and I needed desperately to get an episode for Leona because you know how a 3-year-old is and you know
Mhm.
how their parents are just frantic. And I was like, wait a minute. The tour iPad, it's got Mint Mobile. They've saved us not only there, but when I'm on stage and forgot my notes also. So thank you, Mint Mobile, for always being there and making life easy.
In all situations, Mint Mobile is there. You could say bye-bye, or if you're Leona, ciao ciao to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages because Mint Mobile is here to rescue you.
All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for only $15 a month.
This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/ATWWD. That's mintmobile.com/ATWWD.
Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Alrighty, so I have a story for you today, Em. This is the story of Amy Gellert, born Charlotte Gellert in 1973. Kind of cute, named after her mother, but neither of them went by Charlotte. Amy herself went by Amy, which was her middle name, and then her mom went by Bunny.
Love that.
You know how we've talked about nicknames and how Bunny is like one of the best and worst
Yeah.
of all the nicknames? Like it's such like it feels like a country club grandma, you know?
Yeah, it sounds like
Like Skip and Bunny or something.
you certainly aren't. It's weird because it implies youth, but I don't think I would ever associate it with a younger person.
No, right, true. True. It's always like somebody with like capris.
Yes, with only white capris, only white. Um, yeah, that's
Ah,
interesting. And
anyway.
they have like a 401k. You
Oh,
know.
yikes. What's that? Just kidding. Okay, so anyway, two Charlottes, neither one of them is Charlotte, Bunny and her daughter Amy. When Amy was 3 years old, her parents divorced. She grew up in Cocoa Beach, Florida, with her two brothers, Ryan and Mark, and her mother, because her mother was a single mom.
Mhm.
The three of them were inseparable. They were thick as thieves. And some of Amy's friends, looking back, think that Amy wanted to be more like her brothers, but her mom wanted her to be a girly girl type of
Mm-hmm.
daughter, like a feminine daughter, and she didn't quite fit the picture, is what some of her friends said. Amy wasn't a very like girly girl. She was pretty rebellious. She often pushed her mother's buttons, and with a mom like Bunny, I imagine, that feels like the perfect mother-daughter kind of situation. You want your daughter to be a girly girl who's into makeup, and then
Trust
sorry,
me,
Bunny.
my mom can relate to Bunny. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way.
let's just put it that way. In more ways than one, by the way. The capris notwithstanding. I
My
mean,
mom,
actually
that woman
withstanding
loves
fully.
a white capri.
You loves a white capri. So that was kind of the dynamic, at least according to Amy's friends. Ryan, her brother, said Amy was the perfect friend and the perfect sister, and he started to cry when he said that, and it made me sad.
Hmm.
When Amy was 5 years old, Bunny remarried, and Amy got a stepfather, and his name was Bob Layton.
Okay,
He
probably.
joined the family, and they became a pretty solid family unit, the five of them. But soon after this, Amy became seriously ill with encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And so encephalitis is often caused by a viral infection or other primary issue that then leads to the swelling of the brain. But we don't know what preceded the encephalitis. If anything, we don't know. We don't know how it happened, but we do know that she suffered from it. And she survived, but the illness left her with learning disabilities that made school really difficult for her.
Hmm.
And her mom and others who knew her said she really, really struggled, not only academically, but also socially because she had to be held back a year. And it was just kind of hard for her at that age to like reconcile getting pulled back from her friends and,
Sure.
a whole new world. Despite her struggles and this like life-threatening illness that she defeated, she still seemed to be bubbly and happy. People were always drawn to her. Her high school best friend Andrea Odell said Amy was the most special person she'd ever met. She just was a very unique and good friend. But Amy's parents didn't necessarily feel that way because the friends she brought around were not always ones that they approved of.
Oh, okay.
Amy hung out with some teenagers that other people called rough, rebellious. We're talking like the late 80s, early 90s, so you can probably exactly picture what I'm talking about.
Grunge punk.
Yeah, grunge, that kind of thing, like smoking pot, dope.
Ah, the
Yeah,
devil's
that
lettuce.
the
No.
devil's let it.
You know what's?
Bunny would for sure call it that.
Are you still gonna get your hot one? Your hot tattoo?
Oh yes,
What's his
absolutely.
name? Hot one?
Hot stuff.
Hot
Hot,
stuff.
hot
You realize if
stuff.
you get hot stuff, we are the devil's lettuce. Isn't that fun?
That's crazy.
Isn't that silly?
That's
Sorry.
crazy.
Keep
And I
going.
am, by the way, I am getting it.
I'm excited.
She wrote to me that I don't know if anybody remembers this, but I was supposed to get a tattoo in Vegas, and then unfortunately and it was all these what do you call it? I was gonna say conspiracies. I mean coincidences, synchronicities that led up to it. And then the morning of the tattoo, I got this email being like, "Oh, she was in a car accident," and it was like, "What the fuck?" and like so scary. And then I said, "Well, maybe sometime I'll be back in Vegas to reschedule." And they're like, "Well, she'll be in Northern Kentucky." In Covington, Kentucky in August. Does that help? And I'm like, am I being scammed? Anyway, I was not being scammed because I just wrote in and we got it on the books and she's coming to Covington, which is like right down the street, and I'm getting my hot ones in August. So
Perfect.
we'll be the devil's lettuce.
Very fun.
Just in time for the spooky season.
Oh, no
That's a good
problem.
costume. We should do that.
I would love to be dressed up as lettuce. That'd be silly.
I would love to dress up as the devil.
Perfect. Okay, great.
And the devil, I guess, smoking marijuana. I think it fits the bill.
We should just both be like a Cheech and Chong version of devil and lettuce.
Devil and lettuce. Cute.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your story,
No,
but
no,
I
no.
just
It's fine. We're trying to find the pockets of tangent. I'm sorry. I know people sometimes get annoyed, but
it's gonna get sad, so like let us have a moment
it
and
it is
delight.
how we speak in real life. It's like you just have to follow along on the path. The winding roads, they're all detours.
Hang in there long enough and you'll be sad. Don't worry.
Don't worry, we will get to it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we will take that part seriously. So Amy was one of those people that had a lot of friends across the social, board. So, although all her friends called her a great friend and somebody that they loved to be around, her parents did not necessarily feel the same way about all the people she brought around.
Mhm.
So she hung out with kind of a tougher crowd, and she started smoking pot. Speaking of which, she started smoking pot. And, obviously, even today, that is something that parents and kids have major issues about and tension in households and things like that. But back then, the late 80s, early 90s, we're talking satanic panic. I mean, literally devil's lettuce. Like,
It
that
was that
is
bad.
the vibe. Yeah. So her mom is really, really, really not about it. And according to her mom, I don't know, I didn't hear anybody else's kind of take on this, but according to her mom, she was very heavily into pot. And she even said Amy was someone, and this is a quote, someone who would sell her soul for pot. That's what she
Wow.
taught. That's what she said about her daughter. So I'm like, I mean, I don't
It's
know
like how
exactly.
on the nose is that, you
Yeah,
know?
and is that like, oh, she was actually selling? I don't know how specifically how that translates, but apparently she really was pretty dependent on it, and her mom got desperate. Her mom was like, I gotta get her off this stuff. So
Mhm.
unfortunately, back then, what was considered a pretty, at least at the very least, legal action, she sent her daughter to a sort of wilderness camp or one of
Oh,
these.
like the Scared
Yeah,
Straight kind of programs.
it's actually called Straight is the name of the program.
Sorry. Sorry, that's not funny, but,
It's
like,
not
what
funny. It's
it's
just
so on the
it's just
nose.
so on the it's just so like you actually accidentally said the literal name of the program. Like
Uh,
that's how absurd
the
how absurd it got.
the only way it would be better is if it was like a gay conversion camp, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean exactly. And I
Like,
bet you there
jeez.
are those also called Straight,
Oof.
you know?
Horrifying. Okay.
Oof. Okay, so her mom enrolled Amy in a so-called rehabilitation program in Orlando called Straight. It just
Mhm.
all of that is a painful sentence.
How much weed was she smoking?
That's what
Jesus
I'm saying. I don't
Christ.
know like what because Bunny was the only one who ever gave kind of a like a valuation on it, like an amount or a number or an idea. Like her friends did say, "Oh yeah, she was like, smoking pot and she it affected her in some way, but we don't know really like the extent of it."
Right.
Um, but for whatever reason, Bunny thought it was worth sending her to this rehabilitation program, and it was called
Alright.
Straight. And Sersha, our wonderful researcher, wrote this note here. The documentary on this case only identified the program by the name Straight, that it was in Orlando, and that the program was, quote, controversial.
You
I
don't
looked,
say.
yeah, I looked into youth rehabilitation programs in Florida called Straight at that time. And this is Saoirse speaking, and I am making an educated assumption that Amy attended a program with Straight Inc., was the name of it.
Okay.
Straight Inc. was one of many rehabilitation programs that have exploited families through the troubled teen industry, is what it's being referred to as now. According to the Unsilenced Project, countless abuse allegations and $15 million in lawsuit settlements shut down Straight Inc. in 1993, which was not long after Amy was in the program.
Oof, okay.
So thank you, Sersha, for going down that rabbit hole. It's always a dark and sad and scary one. We've covered a few cases of different wilderness camps coming into play.
Mhm.
Um, not even wilderness camps, sorry, like the scared straight camps, the rehabilitation, quote
Right.
unquote, troubled teen camps. I guess they're sort of like a boot camp type thing. So I guess I shouldn't need to say this, but just to clarify, Amy did not want to go to this program. Like,
Right.
she really didn't. She didn't consent to it. She was angry about being removed from her whole world, her home, her social life. And Ryan, her brother, said that she blamed their mother for that,
Well,
obviously,
yeah. I mean, I've never had one of these experiences. But I can assume that one of the reasons I was an angsty teen is because I didn't feel in some way there was something going on with, like, my relationship with my parents, I'm sure, and that's why I came across as angsty. And, like,
Yeah.
there's no worse way to mend that than, like, give me another reason to
Then, like,
fucking hate you.
pushing you and torture like, I mean, not torturing in this necessarily, I don't know what happened at this camp, but in some of them, literal torture, like, no
Mhm.
sleeping with a sleeping bag, no food, water, and it's like but I guess and, to that point also, there's so many documentaries on this, so, don't take my word for it, but a lot of the parents claimed that, back in the '90s, they didn't even realize like, if they
Right.
knew, they would not have signed their kids up for something where they don't get a blanket and they're 13 years old and they're
Or they're
sleeping
being, like,
outside,
physically harmed or
or they're being
something, yeah.
physically abused. So, I'm not saying, the parents, like, intentionally chose that, but the programs themselves, ended up being a lot worse than anybody kind of realized.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of
Yeah.
them are still around, so it's disturbing. Yeah. So she went to this camp, not by choice, and she went and returned in '92, which again, this camp had been shut down in '93 permanently after $15 million in lawsuits. So like, this was its last hurrah, I guess.
Mhm. Mhm.
So she comes home in 1992, and everybody says she actually seemed like she had a better head on her shoulders. Like she seemed more like herself. She seemed more grounded. She had come home with friends from the program and started to think about her own future. So, whatever that, who knows what that had to do with anything, but I'm just going to take it at face value.
Sure.
So she started thinking about the future and being someone who was passionate about music her whole life. Her dream, her like life dream was to be a roadie for a rock and roll band. Okay.
Hell yeah, brother, that's what's up. Oh my god.
Well, get this. She
What?
did get a job as a roadie
Shut
for
up.
the rock and roll praise band at her parents' church.
That's a happy middle ground,
I
isn't it?
fucking love it. It's like, and she loved it. Like, I just think that's so kick ass, Bunny was probably like elated, like, finally we found our common ground,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, totally.
it's so fun. I love it. So she she got a job basically touring with this rock and roll praise band at her parents' church, and she was their sound engineer at Calvary Chapel's recording studio. So she made quite a few new friends, and suddenly she's in this like totally different crowd than she was before. And even though, her parents are relieved, her family's relieved, they're seeing her kind of step away from the kids they felt were bad influences, that kind of thing. However, she didn't totally strictly stick to her new life. She did see her old friends from time to time, the kind of more questionable ones, according to her parents. And she didn't completely stop smoking weed, which she would buy from friends that she met in the straight program.
Okay.
Ironically,
Certainly.
I assume that's an example of irony.
I mean, it's a lot like going to, like, gay conversion camp and, like, everyone's hooking up with each
Hooking up.
other.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like
It
making
happens,
yeah,
yeah.
like getting a boyfriend. Right, exactly. So in 1993, this guy named Scott Manley reaches out to Amy, and this would have been like a year after the program. He was 2 years older than her, but they had met while they were both in straight, and he wanted to reconnect. Scott struggled with substance use disorder, and he used, unlike Amy, much more dangerous drugs than just marijuana. So he was using crack cocaine, and Amy's family was anxious about this guy being around
Sure.
their daughter, especially because she had been trying to, pull away from the marijuana use.
Mhm.
But Amy, she was somehow able to juggle those friendships. So she had her friends from the program and the friends who were supplying her with weed, and then she also had her church friends and was doing sound mixing for them. And she seemed happy overall. So we're now fast forwarding to late March of 1994, and Amy had just turned 21. It seemed like she was really getting like a feeling for what she wanted to do in life. She was doing better than she had in a long time. March of '94, you can imagine Cocoa Beach, Florida was hopping,
Good
spring
time.
break. Yeah, I imagine that was a riot and somewhere I would probably have been scared to go.
Somewhere I would have thrived.
I know, it's so funny, man. I would have watch that reality show of you just floating around at one of those spring break, like MTV shows, just floating
Just
around.
hurting my cats that are all the drunk friends that
Yeah,
I
you're
came
just
with. Yeah.
gossiping about everything and just like watching, just like drinking a little mocktail.
Yeah,
A
totally.
good one.
A good one.
Okay. So busier than ever. Everyone's flocking to the beach. I feel like 90s were like prime Florida spring break vibes, at least from my
Totally.
memory.
MTV Spring Break, wasn't it always at Orlando?
It feels like it was, yeah, somewhere. Yeah, that sounds right. Again, I didn't watch it. I was scared. but
Okay.
I'm sure, but I'm sure you know. So Ryan was home from college, Amy's brother, and he said she was having a good week. On Sunday, March 20th, she went to church in the evening. She saw her parents there. I didn't realize this until now. Not now, but like now in the research when I was reading through everything, that her parents' names are Bunny and Bob. And I just like
Hmm.
that is quite a power couple name. So
I like the alliteration, but I am mad that he doesn't have an animal name too.
Bunny and Bob.
Bunny and
Bunny and
Barry.
Bear.
Barry.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. That's true.
Hmm. I could see Bunny changing her name to something later, like Foxy, like something like wants to like revamp herself, but with a different animal name, and it'd be, the Foxy was
I
an
know.
older sound anyway. So
Jazzy. No. I don't know. Yeah. There's something in
Kitty,
there.
Kitty,
Kitty.
maybe Kitty.
Kitty's good.
We'll shop it. We'll talk to Bunny.
We'll talk to Bunny because I think Bunny though, I feel like once you're a bunny, like it's hard
You,
to be cast as anything else.
yeah,
It's like
you
if
can't
you're
unlight that match.
you can't that's beautiful. That's beautifully said.
Just tell Bunny.
Oh my god. Okay, so March 20th. Amy goes to the church in the evening.
Hmm.
She sees her well, she sees her parents there, Bunny and Bob, and she says, "Hey, I will be driving home separately, but I'll see you when I get there."
Okay.
Bob and Bunny get home. They walk into the house and they see a man step out of the darkness wearing a ski mask and gloves.
Oh my god.
And he is holding a gun in one hand and a dagger in the other.
Oh my god. I
Yeah.
forgot for a second this was a horror story.
We were having so much fun talking, and I realize now how impending this doom actually was. I think I thought we had more room to banter and play
Yeah,
around
it
in the
came quick.
space, and then all of a sudden it was not.
Oh my god, I obviously can't imagine. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, fucking terrifying. Okay, they see this guy step out of a room. He's wearing a ski mask, gloves, holding a gun, and a dagger. He orders Bunny and Bob to their knees. He forces them to crawl through the house until told to stop. Bob is made to lie down on his stomach, and Bunny is told to lie down on top of him across his body, sort of forming like a T shape.
Interesting.
So apparently, they found out later that this is actually a commonly used tactic for controlling captives because stacking people kind of perpendicular like that makes it a lot more difficult for them to move without creating sort of a commotion.
Oh my god.
I did not know that, but apparently that is something you learn in sort of either military or police training, that kind of thing. So the intruder told Bunny and Bob that he got into the house because they left one of their doors open and presumably unlocked. We're not sure. And told them they shouldn't do that.
Oh my god.
This is when it starts to feel like like just
I mean,
the
it's just
worst horror
true.
movie of all time. Yeah.
No words.
He asked who lived in the home, and Bunny said it's just us and our daughter. The intruder asked them to hand over any money they had, and Bob pulled out the cash from his pockets. And as they're listening to this guy speak, he seems to speak in a tone that's like he's affecting a higher pitch
Hmm.
to try and sound like a different person so that his voice doesn't sound the
Sure.
same. So he's talking in this weird way. He's also, according to Bob, trying to sound like comforting. Like it just
Ew.
everything about this gets creepier by the moment.
And also a high pitched voice, like this is not meant to be funny, but like if all of a sudden like
Yeah,
that it's
it's a
somehow
horror.
even fucking
It's
creepier.
way scarier, and it's like if you're trying to sound comforting and you're not, sounding that way,
Yeah.
obviously,
Oh
because
my
you're
god.
literally, attacking these people,
Oh my god.
just the contrast between that is so horrifying. Ooh, it's chilling. So Bob says that yes, he felt like this guy was trying to sound kind and comforting and like
Oh my god.
raising his voice to be gentle. And meanwhile, obviously acting completely differently, forcing them on their knees and on the ground.
Well, you hope he's just gonna rob you and leave, and, like,
Exactly.
maybe he is trying to be comforting of, like, "I don't wanna hurt anybody, I just wanna steal your fucking money." Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, I don't
Yeah.
know.
So hopefully that's like the best possible outcome, I would say, in this case. So he told them, just like you said, he didn't want to hurt them. He was only here to burglarize them, but he was pacing back and forth nervously. And they're offering him everything. They're saying, take money. Apparently, Bunny was wearing $5,000 worth of jewelry. And he was like, no, I don't want that. He didn't want the watch. He didn't want the jewelry. They were offering him cash. They said, take our car. He just wasn't going for it, and I think that was also starting to obviously raise even more alarms, like, if you're here to burglarize us, just do it and go,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
the pacing is him wondering, like, if I leave them here, then there's, like, a chance of, like, the police being called, like,
Yeah,
there's, like,
he has to be, like, pondering something or, like,
they know too
deciding
much.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you just want this to be over, you know? He kept pacing back and forth, and they were asking, "Take this, take that." He said he was waiting for his ride.
Okay.
So they're like, "What the fuck? This guy's pacing around, apparently waiting for his ride." Then he asks them, "When will your daughter be home?"
Fuck!
I know.
She's
Eh,
not, she's at sleepaway camp. She's not coming back.
what?
That's what I would've said, I would've been like, "She's gone."
Oh, right, that she's not here, right, exactly. So he asked when, their daughter would come home. They're like, "Take one of our cars from the garage, please. Just take our car and go, get out of here." He asked if the cars were stick shifts, and they said yes, and so just kept pacing, and it's like, "Well, fuck," like, of all things to go wrong. They asked him if they could go outside and, like, stand out there within his view where it would be impossible for them to run away, but where they would at least be, like, outdoors. I think they just wanted out of the house at this point, but he refused. So he remained that way, pacing while they laid on the ground, kind of like perpendicular on top of each other,
Yeah.
and eventually headlights shined down the driveway. And instead of feeling relieved, like his ride was here, he seemed to snap. He he leapt on top of Bob and Bunny with the dagger in his hand, and he brought the blade down with full force and stabbed Bob in the head. Next, oh my god. I mean, this is a lot of uh graphic, so just a warning, trigger warning. He cut Bunny across her throat, and then he stabbed her in the back, and then he stabbed her again in the neck. He attacked her so ferociously, again, trigger warning here, that she could feel and hear bones in her neck breaking or crunching.
God.
And the way it was described is that it was so without warning. It was like he was just pacing around, and then, like, in an instant, he flipped on a dime and just went ballistic
I feel like
on
he
them.
just he panicked realizing that someone was gonna find out, and he
Something
just
exactly, just
yeah.
full on panicked.
Oh
And
my god,
he
oh
hadn't
my
even been,
god.
like, shouting. There was no warning that this was coming at all. Bunny thought it was as if a switch inside him flipped, and Bob, at this point, still alive, he has to get outside and scream for help. That's all he knows. He makes a break for it while this guy's still there.
Oh my god.
He runs outside through the driveway and makes it somehow to a phone to call 911. He tells the police he and his wife were stabbed multiple times. They were bleeding badly. The attacker, meanwhile, fled on foot, sort of following Bob out after he ran, kind of noticing that Bob had run, but then he ran off. So he tells the police, please come quickly. We've been stabbed. We've been attacked. Thank God, emergency services arrive. Bob and Bunny are both transported to the hospital, and incredibly, both survived. their
Oh my
wounds. And
god, I did
actually,
not see that coming.
I know, me neither. And they actually recovered in that, they're able to kind of use all their faculties
Oh my god,
from where they were
I
injured.
really thought this was gonna turn out a different way.
So the whole ordeal, which I mentioned just to give you an idea of like how, I mean, I guess just how quick this all happened,
Yeah.
25 minutes from start to end. From when
Oh
they
my
got to the
god.
house, saw this guy to, getting the ambulance on the scene was a whole 25 minutes, which is
Mm.
just crazy, mind-blowing. So, they're in the hospital, they're both alive, thank God, but a pastor arrives to speak with Bunny, and he tells her he has some bad news. Amy had not survived the attack.
What?
Now, Bob and Bunny are confused because, as far as they knew, Amy wasn't even home, and so they're thinking,
Right.
"Impossible, you're confused," you know?
Yeah.
But detectives inform her that, as it turns out, the headlights that had triggered the intruder to attack had belonged to Amy, and she had just gotten home. Like her parents, she had no suspicion that anything was wrong, and when Bob ran outside for help right after the headlights appeared, the intruder had followed him out, had spotted Amy behind her car. Meanwhile, Bob was in survival mode. He had not seen Amy behind her car.
Mm.
The attacker, Bob thought, had fled into the night, and he
He
had, but
ran
not
straight to the car.
not after stabbing Amy first
Oh my
and killing her.
god.
So, just the idea, I mean, to think of he's chasing Bob and then he sees Amy and stops and he turned around and went to attack Amy. And again, all of this was a total of 25 minutes. Her parents didn't even know she was there. And
Mhm.
now they had to find out she was dead because the same
I mean,
attacker
I can't imagine having already the worst night of your life and, like, thinking, "How am I gonna recover from
and
this?"
the
And then,
shock,
"Oh, actually, the only thing worse than that
the only
actually
thing
also
worse.
happened."
Exactly. Like the shock of that would be horrific.
No, I wouldn't recover.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's really unthinkable. And she was just standing behind her car. She had no clue
Yeah.
what was going on. And all of a sudden, the attacker turned, and Amy struggled with him. He actually cut slash marks into her backpack. Then he stabbed her, and she broke away, and she ran across the street to an apartment complex, but she collapsed there in the lot. And even though police responded within minutes, she had already succumbed to her wounds. So investigators are looking at this and they're thinking, well, we're going to solve this quickly. Like, this is crazy violent. This is like clearly personal. This is
Yeah.
targeted. We're going to figure this out. Also, violent crime in this neighborhood was not normal, not usual. And so they figured, oh, well, certainly we'll find a motive quickly.
Mhm.
So the motive turned out to be, unfortunately, much less clear than they thought because we obviously know by now the intruder didn't seem interested in the money. They were offering him jewelry and cash and he didn't want it. He took a little bit of cash, he took a couple credit cards, but he didn't take any valuables in the house. Investigators noted that their house was one of the nicest in the neighborhood. It was right beside the beach and it would have been the ideal target for a burglary. So why not take something or take things, if you're going to go through such trouble, so to speak? And also, like, what was the motive for such a violent attack? He didn't need to be so brazenly, violent and
Yeah,
brutal.
and just snapping out of nowhere the pacing, I mean, all of
Mhm.
it is
It
very
doesn't
odd.
fit. It doesn't fit a normal, quote unquote, normal burglary. Detectives did find a gun magazine at the scene, which the intruder dropped, not like a magazine to read. Um,
Right, right,
I
a gun
was
magazine.
confused when I first heard that and I went, a gun magazine? Maybe they're fingerprint, whatever. Anyway,
Like NRA's
NRA
weekly
Weekly top babes of
NRA
the year
digest.
calendar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they found this magazine from a gun, and apparently this guy did not mean to drop it because when they found it, it appeared to have fallen during his struggle with Amy, and the magazine came from a prop gun.
Hmm.
So now they're thinking, okay, wow, this wasn't even a real gun. However, it looked real. It looked like a real
Mhm.
gun, which means it was probably designed for use in theater plays or films.
Right.
Because otherwise, you wouldn't have such a realistic looking gun
Right.
um, at hand. So police inquired about the prop with local theaters, acting groups, but nobody was missing a prop weapon. None had been loaned out. And so that felt sort of like a dead end.
Mhm.
But the murder weapon itself was that dagger that I mentioned. Bunny and Bob described this dagger as having an ornate decorative hilt that looked like interwoven gold chains.
Wow. Okay.
Like this
So it's a very specific.
yes, very specific, very unique. Actually, here I have a picture of how they drew it. The sketch artist drew it, uh, to show what it looked like, and it has this
Oh, wow.
braided sort of, and this is done in black and white, but it was an ornate
Mhm.
gold piece above the hilt, and they weren't able to see the hilt because the man had his hand over it the whole time, and he was wearing gloves also.
Mhm.
Um, but they did see that, and that dagger has never been found, nor has the prop gun. So just a heads up.
Wow.
Yeah. So if anyone's curious, take a look because maybe you've seen it. The killer himself was described as average height, medium build, and Caucasian because he was fully covered up, but they could see the contrast between the black mask he was wearing and the lighter skin underneath. And so he was Caucasian. Bunny noted that he seemed to have an accent from the Atlantic coast, specifically Maryland or Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And she knew that, I believe, because she had lived up there for some time. So she recognized the difference between, people she knew locally in Florida and that Atlantic accent. Meanwhile, investigators believe he may have had military or police training because of the way he made Bunny and Bob lie down on the floor. So police are kind of taking all this into consideration and they begin to look into a man called Jeffrey Anderson.
Okay.
He was a burglar involved in a police chase the day after the murder, and when they caught him, he was driving a stolen car. After the chase, Bunny's stolen credit cards were found nearby on the side of the road. And so they're thinking, "Oh,
Hmm.
he must have thrown them out the window during the car chase so that
Sure.
they didn't connect him to the crime." But neither Bob nor Bunny picked him out in a voice lineup. There was no evidence to link him to the cards or the crime, and so that was kind of another dead end. They looked at another angle, which was the fact that Bunny and Bob were both therapists and so had a
Oh, shit.
variety of clients, right? So they're thinking, hey, maybe this is a former patient with with a grudge. Who
Or
knows?
just sorry, I was gonna say, or just someone who's just struggling with mental illness,
Or someone
period.
struggling with mental illness. Yeah, exactly. And they looked into that, thinking, is there anybody who's maybe unstable or who would have some motive to harm you? Um, but looking through everything and talking to both of them, there was no evidence to support this theory. Not a single patient
Wild.
would fit the bill. Investigators began to suspect now that the motive was Amy, to harm Amy. Her arrival was the thing that triggered the attack, and the murderer
Hmm.
let Bob go to target Amy, even though sensibly, I mean, not that you're
He
like
already
thinking.
had someone locked in that he could have
Yeah,
hurt.
exactly. And also, Bob has heard him speaking and would be maybe more of a risk to let go.
Could it have been like a drug deal gone wrong if she got back into like weed? Like, or
Very
maybe it
well
was
could have been.
someone from straight that like, because wasn't it that one guy who got back in touch and he was like doing some hard drugs?
Hmm. Interesting, Em. You
Oh,
are you are
it's almost as if you mentioned him for a reason.
it's
Yeah.
almost okay, no, give yourself more credit. That was a very good angle because we are absolutely gonna get there and you're onto something. You're onto more than something.
Okay.
So, now they're thinking, okay, well, then obviously it seems like Amy might have had something to do with that, with the attack. Worth noting, though, that when Bunny told the attacker that she lived in the house with Bob and their daughter, the attacker never mentioned Amy by name. He only said your daughter. And
Mm-hmm.
so, it didn't rule out that he knew about Amy. Like maybe he just didn't know her name, or maybe he was pretending not to know her name or not using it on purpose. But either way, um, he didn't say Amy. He just said your daughter.
Okay.
So they looked at people in Amy's life. Her friend Scott became a person of interest just hours after the attack. Um, he was the guy that had gotten in touch from the straight program and
Right.
had been into a little more than just weed, including crack cocaine. He had actually been at Amy's house earlier that day and was the
Hmm.
last friend known to have visited her before her death.
You don't say.
And interestingly, 30 minutes after she was killed, Scott left a voicemail on her answering machine. Just coincidence.
Just catching up
Just
without
catching up.
any awareness of what's going on right now.
He said, quote, Gellert, it's Scott. It's like 9:30. It's too late to go out. I'll give you a ring about later this week. See ya. And that was a voicemail.
Fishy, fishy.
Those very fishy. So the day after the attack, well, the police officers, I want to say, I want to say like fishy from not just our perspective, but actually from investigators. They were like,
They were like,
we
oh
don't
yes.
believe in coincidences necessarily. Like this is a little too weird, like to be a coincidence. So anyway, to give us a little bit of cred here, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the day after the attack, Scott spoke with police because they're like, well, you called her right after she was killed, you know, no coincidence. Explain it. He said, oh, well, we had plans that night, but they fell through. Now, interestingly,
Of course they
Amy's,
fell through. She died.
yeah, well, that too, exactly. But Amy's best friend, Andrea, said, no way did they have plans. Amy and I had plans to walk down the beach, and being her best friend, I would know if she had double booked herself, or I would know if she also planned to meet Scott. Like, she was like, no, she didn't have plans to meet Scott. And I don't know. I don't know about you, but I trust the friend who is like, hey,
I'm her best friend.
I'm her
Yeah.
best friend, and I had plans with her that night. So, interestingly, days before she was killed, Amy had actually asked one of her brothers, Ryan, to drive her to Scott's apartment because he owed her money.
Hmm.
And he lived there with his parents. And she wanted to stop by. And, you know, the theory is in this case that perhaps she was scared to go alone and wanted her brother to go along with her because she needed to confront him, but was scared to do it solo, which makes sense. Um, I don't believe that drive ever happened. It's a little unclear to me whether they actually went to the apartment, but when police heard this, that Scott potentially owed Amy money, they of course asked Scott about it.
Mhm.
Here's what he said. In his version of events, Scott, they didn't come to his house. Scott told his dad, "Hey dad, I owe my friend Amy $30. Can I borrow 30 bucks? And by the way, I also need a ride to her house." So apparently Scott's dad, according to Scott, gives him $30 and a ride to Amy's place. But then Scott's like, but actually, I kept the $30 for myself because I
Okay.
wanted to buy drugs. And that's
Okay.
his story of how why he was at her house that night. And it's very unclear, like, what he's trying to accomplish with that story. Like, it
It's
doesn't
like
make him look
I did
good.
borrow money, but I didn't give it to her, even though I did owe
R-
it to her, but
right.
also
I
I
used
didn't
it
do anything.
to do drugs, but that's the only reason I would have been at her house to trick my dad. It's just so weird. It's so weird. And anyway, of course, he's like ringing off alarm bells with police. He tells them he spent the evening using drugs and driving around town and that he got home before 9 p.m. And his parents confirmed the story, which, you know, can't necessarily be the most convincing alibi, but whatever.
Sure.
Investigators, however, did not find any blood in his vehicle, which would have been difficult because this guy was literally cutting Bunny's throat and stabbing them in the neck and the head. I mean, there would have been blood.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah. And so it seemed unusual that there was no physical evidence because nothing linked him to the crime. There was no blood on his hands, there was no sign on his body of a violent struggle.
Okay.
And Amy had fought back. So it was unclear if he was at all connected, and if so, how. So time just continued to pass, and Amy's family had to both recover from the attack and also wait to see if they can figure out what happened to their daughter. In 1995, Scott from just now was accused of kidnapping his girlfriend's child for money to buy drugs.
Oh my.
And when he was brought in for questioning, they asked him again about Amy, and he continued to maintain his innocence. He's still not looking like a great guy, but he still claims he had nothing to do with her death. Then, a year after Amy's death, a tip led investigators to someone new. This was 21-year-old Dominic Kanika. Dominic was a local cook from Pennsylvania who had recently moved to the area with his girlfriend, Julie Flounders.
Okay.
One of Julie's coworkers made a tip to police claiming they overheard Julie say her boyfriend was possibly involved in Amy's murder. He had recently received training in the Marine Corps, which would kind of align with how they thought he may have military training. And considering he was from Pennsylvania, he may have had that
Mm,
Atlantic accent that Bunny was talking about. So that would make some sort of sense.
sure.
Even more interesting, the day after the murder, Dominic had stolen a car and left town. So that's also a weird coincidence.
Certainly fishy, as we said earlier.
Investigators tracked him down all the way in Pennsylvania. And guess what? He admitted to being at the crime scene the night Amy was murdered.
He is bad at this.
They're so bad at this. It's like,
He didn't even try? Did he do that thing where, because I mean, the last guy, he panicked, and could this guy just panicked and been like, "You're right. You're right. You
no,
got me."
he didn't
Oh,
say he did it. He just said he was at the crime scene.
okay. Well, then he is bad at this.
So, hey, hold your horses. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Okay.
They're like, he's like, I was at the crime scene. And they're
Mhm.
like, wait, what? Really? And he's like, yeah, well, I was on my way home from work when I saw police lights and fire trucks in front of Amy's house. So I pulled over to see what was going on. And then investigators, I'm not even making this up. This is literally what he said. I mean, he's making it up, but I'm not.
Mhm.
He told investigators that he assisted the deputy on the scene in putting up crime scene tape.
No, you did not.
Like, no, you did not. Stop.
And also, if you
Don't be
did, wouldn't
ridiculous.
then where's that person who could confirm that?
Literally nobody. They
I
weren't
know
able to
with
prove it's
confidence
true,
that's not
but
the
they
truth.
also weren't able to prove it's untrue. So it's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, it's not true, please.
Disgusting.
Basically, investigators say it would be extremely unusual. I think it's like one of those cases where they can't say it would be impossible because a lawyer would say like, well, would it be possible? Would it be possible? And they'd say sure, but
Mhm.
extremely unlikely for first responders to just allow passersby to like put up crime scene tape. I mean,
And like
maybe
and like potentially ruin a crime scene too, first
or
of
just
all.
yeah, just get involved at all. Like that's like step aside. This isn't for you. I don't know.
So,
But
I'm
unless
gonna
maybe
tell you
there's like
now,
frenetic energy and maybe he jumped in. I don't know. I don't want to say like for sure, for certain, but
I got
nobody
me a feeling, Christine, he's the one. I'm just
I
telling you now
mean,
what my bet is.
your theory so far. Okay, I like it. They also checked his timesheet at work, and guess what? He hadn't clocked in that night, and so, very weird that he said he was driving home from work, and
Oh,
he didn't go to work, and then he was at the crime scene. Weird.
great point. Great point,
So,
Christine.
yeah, thanks. I didn't make it, but it is a
You're-
great point.
I know, I'm the best.
I'm happy to be the messenger, though. So for whatever reason, though, they never did a voice lineup with this guy, and so
Well,
that
could you really
sucks.
though? Because they would just say, do it in a higher
Oh,
pitch.
that's true, and you'd have to, like,
You could
affect your
just,
voice to yeah.
if you're already making up a voice, you can just make up another voice, you know?
I guess, but you could say, like, say this sentence in a comforting way or something, and then,
That's
like,
true.
hear the different even I don't know. They did it with the other guy, so it would have been
You're
nice
right.
to do
You're
both,
right.
but whatever. Uh, and again, this guy's the one from Pennsylvania, so it's like, hey, even better reason to do it,
That's a good point.
you know? So in 2013, we have another guy. So we're fast forwarding now. 2013, this other guy comes on the picture. He is called Hugh Popple, and he becomes a suspect because he had once been in a relationship with Amy. Years later, he died in a hit and run accident, and apparently somebody made a comment that it was, quote, karma for what he had done to Amy.
What now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. It's an interesting thing to say.
it is. And so of course, this gets brought to police. They do an investigation. They look into him, but nothing links him to the freaking case. It's just like it's all these immediate, like these alarming statements, and then like nothing. You know.
Yeah, that was it's felt telling to say
hmm
something like that.
It did, but it's like maybe that person just had a theory and it
Yeah.
wasn't true. You know. But so investigators have considered maybe the murderer was a neighbor or somebody the family knew. It did seem like he obviously planned to kill the family, but then he also was wearing a full mask, right? And so they were
Mhm.
thinking, well, maybe he didn't want the neighbors to see him. Maybe they would have recognized him. You know,
Sure.
if he had already been planning to kill the whole family, why would he have had to wear such an intense disguise? And so they thought maybe like he didn't want other people around to see in case they recognized him. It's unclear. Um, in 2014, cold case investigators began re interviewing persons of interest in the case. They spoke to Julie Flounders, who was the girlfriend of that Pennsylvania chef Dominic, the one that you said you think is the best bet so far.
Mhm.
Uh, and she's the one who allegedly was overheard saying her boyfriend may have been involved in Amy's death. Julie had originally denied having ever said Dominic might have been involved in Amy's killing, but when they talked to her 20 years later, she said she may have made a joke about it back then.
Haha.
Haha. But she insisted it was just like a side comment, like a joke. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Um, and that he never actually made any confession to her. And when they look back on the original paperwork with Dominic, it turns out he had originally told investigators he was driving Julie's Jeep the night of the murder and that he told Julie he had been at the crime scene, remember doing the crime scene tape. But 2 decades later, Julie was like, I'll be honest, I don't remember. I don't remember if I loaned him the Jeep.
Julie,
I know. I don't
come on,
remember
girl.
if he stopped at the crime scene or whether he told me about it. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm
Which, like,
annoyed.
you have to hope that that's a good sign that she doesn't really remember. Because if
That's true. That's true, I guess.
if he said something really dastardly, she would remember,
Yeah,
unless she's covering for him.
however, get this,
What?
because you're right, you would be right in one aspect. However, in a CBS 48 Hours special that covered the case, Julie initially agreed to speak to reporters in an interview, but then she backed out because she claimed to be afraid of Dominic because at the time of the production, he was in prison for drug possession and robbery. So,
Oh
maybe she
boy.
really doesn't remember or maybe she's afraid. And I can sort of understand that angle as well. Maybe she's just not speaking up because she's afraid.
Okay.
So Dominic himself had also agreed to speak with cold case unit investigators, but when he did speak with them, he really didn't have anything else to offer to the case. He just kind of wanted to talk about everything else. They said, just like about the weather, about their day. I don't know, just
All
chit
right.
chat. And so that was not really helpful. So now the shady friend, Scott, who had stopped by her house the day she was killed and who had left her that voicemail 30
Mhm.
minutes later, he also agreed to an interview with the 48 Hours news team, but he bailed while they were on the way to see him, which always feels to me like kind of a power trip, you
Yeah.
know? Like they've already like flown in and they're already driving there and then you bail. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. It feels like you get to be the center of attention for the day.
Mhm, mhm. And instead, he ended up writing a letter maintaining his innocence in the case and his desire for the real truth to come out. So, whatever. He basically wrote, "The fact that anybody thought I could be part of such a horrible crime nauseated me." And it's like, okay.
Okay.
So the investigation remains open. Detectives on the case continue to try to put pieces together until something clicks. Here's one interesting theory, which I feel like is one that is currently being looked into, or it hasn't been dismissed yet. So
Okay.
Scott is the one that I just mentioned who was at the
Right.
house.
Voicemail guy.
Yeah, voicemail guy. His dad said Scott had actually once had a job interview at the restaurant where Dominic, the chef, worked.
Shut
Dominic, the
up.
cook. And it could be a coincidence, but investigators have considered that Scott and Dominic knew each other And also, I will say, in the documentary, they mentioned one other employee recognizing both of them and saying, like, I've seen that guy come in for
So
an
there's been
interview.
overlap.
So there has potentially been very, very potentially close overlap.
Maybe sort of kind of.
Yes. And so they have looked into this. And they're thinking maybe if they themselves didn't kill Amy, remember Scott didn't have any marks on him or blood in his car,
Mhm.
maybe they were involved or maybe they know who did, you know, because
Sure.
they were both acting a little weird that day. There is, however, no known evidence to prove this theory. So for now, it's just a theory. DNA was discovered on the Prop Guns magazine, but it has not been identified. And detectives told reporters that it might not even belong to the intruder because, again, he was wearing gloves and like it's a prop gun. Maybe somebody else was using it or handed it to him or got their DNA on
He
it.
could have
So
gone, I mean, it could be as random as he went to a theater and stole it. Like it
exactly. And
yeah.
it could just have somebody else's DNA on it. So they were like, we can't rely on that DNA because it might be
Mhm.
somebody else's, you know?
It's fair.
So the anniversary of the attack, of course, still haunts Amy's family, especially because the case is still technically open. So in an interview, Bunny said, and again, this is a little bit of a trigger warning here. It's hard to listen to, but she said that she could still vividly imagine the sound of the attack of the knife in her
Oh,
neck, and
I
she
can't.
says that really, like, I mean, talk about
You would
PTSD, like
you would
the
only ever hear
haunting
that again.
of
Yeah.
hearing that sound over and over. Amy's brother Mark said that not a single day goes by that he and his family don't think about Amy. And Ryan said Amy's death changed them profoundly, both as a family and as individuals.
Yeah, there's no other way.
It would
Yeah.
just turn everything upside down forever, you know?
Mm.
Bunny finds comfort in her faith. She said she knows where Amy is, and that brings her peace. But the trauma of the attack, it's like, I mean, just it's so crazy to hear of a story where it's not only the trauma of having a loved one, a child going through the attack, but then being part of the attack.
Yeah.
You know, it just all of it is so
And to also have to hear
shocking.
like that maybe she suffered and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, and fought and it's really horrific. And that they survived and didn't even know she was there. I mean, it just all of it is layers of
yeah.
bad. So, like I said, Bunny finds comfort in her faith. She said she knows where Amy is. That brings her peace. But the trauma of the attack and the loss is something that, of course, never goes away. When asked whether the grief ever becomes easier to manage, she said, quote, I don't think it comes in equations like easy or hard. I think it comes like you don't want to forget that person. You don't want
Mm.
to ever get over them. We wouldn't want to get over Amy. Ugh,
Yeah, I
this really makes my
it's
stomach drop.
terrible.
Investigators are confident that somebody out there still living has crucial information that will finally resolve this case and bring justice to Amy and her family. Amy's family, they're very private. They really don't like to be outspoken except for if it's, you know, in honor of the cause of keeping Amy's name out there and the case out there. They hesitated to the 48 hour special that rekindled public interest because, you know, they are so private, but they decided to do it to, you know, with the hopes that it would ignite somebody's memory or some sort of flashback or some click in their mind that would maybe s- uh, inspire them to make a tip that
Mhm.
could lead to solving this case. Um, I am presenting it with that same hope, so I will give resources in a moment of where you can check out, you know, more specific details about the case, pictures, you
Sure.
know, of the dagger, drawing of the dagger, that kind of thing. You know, if that sparks anyone's memory. Detectives working the case did receive some phone calls after the 48 hours special aired. Some were from former military employees who said the type of prop weapon used in the crime was also used not just by theaters and filmmakers, but by military personnel for training. And they
Mhm.
were used specifically that model in the decade that Amy was killed. So that
Interesting.
actually, and remember, they looked through all the theaters in town and nobody was missing a gun, a prop gun. And so I think that's a really good theory too, that this person would have had the gun from military training
Right.
sometime that decade.
Well, to
And
also the stacking like you said.
yes, exactly. And so that kind of really aligns. So, you know, that's something else to consider if you're thinking about this case. And so that, bolsters the theory that he had military training. Despite the tips that came in after the special aired, the case still remains open. It is vital to the cold case team, to Amy, Bunny, Ryan, Bob, Mark, that the memory of Amy and her case remain in the public light until answers come. And on that note, if anybody has information, you are asked to contact either the Brevard County Homicide Unit. You can call them at 321-633-8413 or email them at majorcrimes@bcso.us, or you can contact the Central Florida Crimeline 1-800-423-TIPS. And it's also important to note that you may remain anonymous if you do make a call or write an email. So thank you for listening to that story. I know it was sad, and we kind of we got in our laughs in the beginning, but
We got them in there.
it pretty much devolved into just sadness as usual. So that's the story of Amy Gellert. It's pretty tragic, and it's really not very well known. And it's always hard to hear that a family doesn't have answers yet,
Yeah.
And then to live in fear, like you've been attacked by that person,
I mean,
and they're still out there.
I've said it so many times, and not that that's like I would, if I were in that situation, I would constantly be petrified every time I was alone in a room ever again. I would, where's every exit? How do I get out? Is
Yeah,
everything locked? I mean, you can't even leave your house. You can't leave your house, and then when you do, you're petrified of going back, and you're still thinking the whole time, could someone have gotten in?
I'm
And
always
like,
amazed when people are able to be as, healed and functional and like
mm,
with it as they are. Um
yeah,
and I've heard it said too, like, hey, we have to be like, there's not a choice. And I'm like, I understand that too. Like, if
I
you have
get it, but
say
there would,
like you have other kids, like you just go into full survival mode. I mean, some people maybe can't cope, but I feel like a lot of times it's almost like just an instinctive, like, you just have to power through because there's no other way.
yeah,
It's just horrible. It's horrible.
yeah. I don't think I mean, I guess again, like you said, you have to be strong, but I don't know if I have it in me. Like
Yeah.
I guess nobody knows if they have it
Nobody
in them
knows.
until they're
Right.
already there.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
anyway, I don't know what to say, Christine. Good story, but wow, talk about traumatic.
Yeah, yeah, that's a wild one. And you know, doing more kind of cold cases and other things. I don't know. I've been back on my little rabbit hole game in the middle of the night looking for different stories and unsolved things. So, yeah, we'll keep at it, but in the meantime, you can come join us at our Yappy Hour where we decompress, we change the subject a little bit. We talk about Hank and
Yeah,
his beautiful genetic makeup. I can't wait. Oh,
I yeah.
if you want to do that, you can check your app of choice, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or you can sign up on Patreon. Patreon.com/ATWWD podcast, and you can stream the Yappy Hour audio straight to your phone on your podcast player. You have to just import the RSS feed, or it shows up automatically. And that's that.
Yes, please come decompress with us. We could use it. I'm sure you guys could too. And
That's
why
we
drink?